How you doing, everybody? Sorry that took us a minute. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties, and yeah, sure, we could have came on air, and we could have just been here while it was going down, and you would have heard all this stuff. But I don't know. It's like Zero Cool said before we started the broadcast. We ought to get paid for this, man. And no, here on the Ogres channel, that is not a call for anything. If you'll look down, there's no Patreon. Coming up very soon, the springtime, and my goodness, I promised Zero I would not ramble on. So give me a minute and a half, Zero. It's springtime. And so as I'm planting, I think I said harvest time, as I'm planting and getting ready for hopefully what will be a good harvest, it takes a lot of my time, but I will be making soap, and we will have the donations that are come in for the soap earmarked for certain things. And you never know, Zero Cool. You may need a nice set of Bluetooth headphones or something like that. It's not that you can't buy them on your own, but like you said, brother, I got to echo it. We should get paid for this. My brother, the Britisher, paid someone very well last night. If y'all didn't notice, he did a little shout out for poisoning the well. I didn't know he was going to do it. A lot of people are probably either watching or will watch later, and they think, oh, the ogre knew everything. They're mates. They hold hands and take warm showers together. Listen, the Britisher don't tell me shit. The only thing he tells me is when we have a collab, which is his idea. He says, hey, here's your part. And he even puts in parentheses like the pathos that's supposed to be with it, he doesn't even trust me to know. He'll have like in parentheses, be aggressive, or sound like a news anchor, or exclamation, not like an exclamation point, but he'll be like anyway. So no, I don't know what he's going to do from day to day, but boy, was I ever impressed with that. That said, before I roll over my minute and a half, and I'm damn near close to doing that, I got a very special guest today. What a great guy. What a wonderful friend he's turned out to be. After a little bit of examination on my part, I find that his ideas are second to none. His delivery is second to none. And I don't want to pump him up too much, because I found that if I ramble on and gild the lily, not only will it take forever, but it might make our special guest feel a little strange. So we were supposed to talk about comic books, movies, music, art yesterday. And Zero Cool was supposed to be here, but duty called. He couldn't join us. So Zero, what do you have to say about those things? You can start anywhere you want. I will be looking for questions in the chat.
Hello, everybody out there in Ogre Land. This is your special guest for today, Zero Cool. I want to start off by simply saying art, like anything else in regards to books and movies and music, is subjective. I also recommend that if you like something, share it. Don't think that what you like is the best of the best, because there is no such thing as best of the best. Well, I did my first, I believe I called it, I had my first real live stream with my own special guest, Conscious Caracal, the other day. And I believe I did usually when I go on to live stream sessions, they're well over 30 minutes, and sometimes I get burned out by that. So I wanted to do something short and sweet, and Conscious Caracal was more than happy to join me that day. And I have a few planned, two more coming up within the next week. If I was making $5,000 a month, I could do this every day, but that would be urge overkill and burnout anyway. But we were talking about movies. We were talking about comparisons between two movies specifically. And we were talking about one movie that came out last year, and we were talking about the Wonder Woman movie that came out this year, which I'm not going on that topic. I've already said my piece on that video. But we were basically talking about what different things that we find good. We agreed on some things, we disagreed on other things, but the moreover the point was it wasn't to overpower each other with our own opinions and thoughts on something. And I think with art, whether it's a novel, a comic book, music, whatever genre, whatever band, whatever performance artist, movie genre, it doesn't matter. Everybody likes something, and there are more similarities within the realm of those three things than there are in anything else. Everybody is genuinely connected to everybody in some manner with those three topics. I am going to spit out a link here on the side chat. Side chat. I'm hoping Ogre will forward it to the main chat because it is a nice little place where I found to read old comic books from when I was a kid, and it's online. It's online, and I like it. So, I'm hoping there will be some questions from the chat. I really, I could talk about anything, but I like to do Q&As more than anything, as opposed to just mouthing off. So, if
and if they leave you hanging, I will definitely chime in with a bunch of questions. But you heard him, chat. Don't be a shitload of daggone cucks, man. Help Zero out. Don't leave him hanging. Ask some questions about what would you like to start with, Zero, before I just cut you off.
Let's just talk about comic books. I don't really get to talk about those all too much because most oftentimes people don't read them, relate to them. They think they're strictly for kids, or all they do is relate back to the movie universes, and I get tired of those.
Okay, so you heard that, folks.
Sorry.
No, is any question off topic? And now I will mute myself for 15 minutes.
So basically, anything that anybody's read that they like, that they want to share, or if they have an interest in knowing what I grew up with. Because I started reading I didn't read normally. I had a hell of a time in school, and if it wasn't for reading my uncle's old comic books from the 60s, I probably would have never even finished grade school. And so I started reading digest-sized trade paperbacks of reprints of Spider-Man from the 60s, from Amazing Fantasy 15 all the way up till the first 10 issues of The Amazing Spider-Man, created by Steve Ditko and Stan Lee. And then later on in life, I found what individual issues were, and oh God, I actually lived through the near ruination of comic books from the 1990s. And if anybody wants to find out a little bit of history about the dark ages of comic books, go to SF Debris on YouTube. That's SFDEBRIS. He does the entire, I think it's a 10-part about the near downfall and collapse of the comic book industry, basically because of the 1990s. And if you want just a fun reviewer, go check out Linkara Atop the Fourth Wall on YouTube. Follow him on Twitter. That dude's done some good stuff. He's not, and he'll tell you he's not a comic book expert, and neither am I. We just know what we know.
Okay, nothing's coming in, but I noticed that we have quiet here, and believe me, as soon as we get you going, it will generate other questions. Nobody ever wants to be the first person to raise their hand. Come on, church, can I get a hallelujah on comic books? So Zero, so there you go, brother. I'm glad to hear your voice. If you didn't see from the chat or know from what's going on, we're talking about comic books, and we have what I would call I said master in the chat, and what I mean by a master of the genre, we have an individual here that is very well versed in a DC universe and could probably have pressed go into any of them. And so we could ask questions about how does it tie. I don't even want to really lead right now because this is Zero Cool's game today. He's fucking this cat. I'm just blowing the fur out of the way. So if you got any questions about that, Quiet, jump on in for Zero. If you want to know about like transitions from comic book to movies, what he's learned for anything at all, ask away. We got the master here.
So I can't see the chat. I'm on my phone. There's no questions so far.
Only yours.
He's always on the phone.
Yeah, and I should have known that. In fact, I did know that. That's why I said it the way I did. But I wouldn't have took all that time to explain to you what was going on. I just wanted to make you look cool, like you were sitting in front of a $10,000 computer system or whatever. But that's okay.
I think we're going to have to drive down there and hijack him and fix his desktop.
Yeah, we might have to. So there you go, Quiet. So glad you're here, brother. But that's what it's all about today. I mean, he already mentioned earlier that he doesn't want to go into the whole. He did say what he had to say about Wonder Woman. I'm sure he reiterates some things, But, you know, ask away. I have some questions, but I'm going to hold back. I'm going to give the dig on chat. Staggerson Jags, RPR, Wolf Shot, any of y'all. I'm going to give y'all a shot now. Ask away, Buttercup. You know, see what you want to know about comics, Captain Coldpile. And I'm sure that Zero Cool will answer it, whether it's philosophical or a direct question about characters, especially from what I know of him in the DC universe. So I'm going to give it a couple more minutes.
Chat, I request you do not ask me one specific question, DC over Marvel or Marvel over DC or DC versus Marvel. That's not what this is about. That's the kind of topic that I can't stand, especially when it comes to music, which hopefully we'll get to a little bit later on.
All right, well, I'm going to start with one if there's no one asking. About, you know, Snart, do you like him more when he's in business doing the robberies, or do you like more of his personal backstory?
Are you talking about Leonard Snart, Captain Cold?
Yeah.
I have a love-hate relationship with the Flash comics altogether. Captain Cold wasn't initially one of my favorite villains or rogues of the Flash series. I was actually more of a Reverse Flash fan, but I think as time went on after, I stopped reading comic books in the mid-90s, and I really wasn't a fan of anything after the New 52. So anything New 52 to Rebirth, I pretty much stay out of. But I started going back reading old comics, and what I liked about Captain Cold was he's a very blue-collar type person. That's something I can relate to. He does have a tragic backstory in comparison to mine. My parents are not and never have been abusive. Len Snart's dad was pretty much an asshole, and he had to take care of his sister Lisa Snart, who is also known as the Golden Glider. Both of these are super villains from the Golden Age during the Barry Allen initial run. But what I like about Leonard Snart as Captain Cold is he is the leader of the Rogues. He has a very blue-collar personality. He just wants to, if he's going to go rob a bank, he's going to go rob a bank. And then he's going to go home, make a sandwich, drink a beer or a Mountain Dew or whatever, and he's not going to cause any more problems. The Rogues, for the most part, one of the reasons I think that in the DC universe, at least, I can't speak for Marvel because I don't ever really see it there much except for maybe Spider-Man, is that the Batman and the Flash have a wide variety of enemies, ranging from B-lister, C-lister bank robbers all the way to the ultra super psychotic villain types. And Spider-Man has that too, but a lot of times Spider-Man himself is his own worst enemy. So Captain Cold really has a very honest, forward, we're gonna break this law and we're gonna fight the Flash and we're gonna try to take him out, but we don't kill women and we don't kill children. We don't waste time if necessary, and we do what we do and to live to survive and protect each other and pretty much not be nuisances if necessary. So he's very, he's got a morality code of what he views as right and wrong, as do a lot of superheroes and do a lot of super villains within the two main universes, Marvel and DC. And there are other universes that someday in the future we'll get to talk about because they're very exciting. They got good characters. But that's kind of what I like about Captain Cold. And I think on the Justice League cartoon, he has some very good one-liners. And hold on a second here.
Oh, no worries, no hurries. I'm sure you can
I had to belch. I didn't want to belch on air. And I personally like, while I am not a fan of the Flash TV show, I think there's too many things they've done wrong with it. I think that Wentworth Miller's Captain Cold is great. And in fact, if you get a chance, watch DC's Legends of Tomorrow and anything with Wentworth Miller in it as Captain Cold. So in a very long, detailed explanation, that is why I chose Captain Cold as my replacement avatar, because I relate to him. And that's why I like Captain Cold, not so much for his backstory, but because he's pretty much a well-rounded villain. And I would say that if he actually wanted to, he could actually be a superhero. But I digress.
Okay.
No, you fully answered the question, so that's all I could ask for.
And I'm sure you can see the next question on the side there. I'm going to keep up with them here. Keep them coming, folks. We got one from Captain Coldpile. If you can see it on the side, you can just answer it without my going on for an hour.
Now, are we talking about the Deadpool movie with Ryan Reynolds? Is that what we're asking?
If that's not Captain, clarify, but I'm almost positive that's what he's saying, but I copied and pasted the entire question. I'm sure he's talking about Ryan Reynolds, yes.
So if we're talking about the Deadpool movie, absolutely. I was laughing my ass off. I didn't get to see it in the theaters because I had things going on, but not being a Marvel person in general, I think that Deadpool is probably one of the better characters in that entire universe. They've handled him pretty well. But as for the movie, freaking hilarious. It's solid. It has it's fun to watch. I've watched it about 10, 12 times now. You like the characters. You know what's going to, even if you know what's going to happen, you still like the character because he realizes, you know, he doesn't mince words. He doesn't play around. He gets it done. And he takes his licks when he gets them. You know, if he gets his hand cut off, he's like, I'll grow a new one, but that's just the way it is. And and in the movie, he only really cares about Vanessa, the girl. He is willing to sacrifice himself, basically, you know, get spit upon, shit upon, everything else, just to get the girl so he can play Wham. Because he loves to play Wham for Vanessa at the end. And I think this is probably one of the best X-Men related movies, in my opinion. The next question is the Joker, original or updated, which is the most psycho?
And I don't have clarification against Zero, but I'm assuming, and RPR, if this is not it, please send a message very quickly, that he means the original as in the original Batman and Robin from the TV show with the original Joker, you know. Up to date. I'm not sure. If not, if you mean Jack Nicholson, Nicholas, excuse me, compared to, go ahead and tell me that. Yeah, whichever one.
Well, let's get one thing clear. When I was talking to Ogre the other day and I had him show the picture out of his book, The Greatest Batman Stories Ever Told, where it actually showed Batman using guns. When the Joker first came out, he was a killer. So they've kind of gone full circle. I actually happen to own only one series in the New 52, which is the Batgirl series, because I love Gail Simone's work, and the art's wonderful. But I, for the most part, hate the Joker currently. I think he's been too popularized. I think that when people talk about Harley Quinn and the Joker as some kind of example for a relationship, that's wrong. That's an abusive relationship on a lot of levels. But I've always believed that at least with Batman, at least with Superman, at least with Wonder Woman, there is always a superhero or a supervillain for each generation. We all get our interpretations. I actually had no objections to Heath Ledger's being the Joker. One of the best performances personally. I love the classic Jack Nicholson. I adore the classic Cesar Romero from the 66 series. And I thought, if people, I'm sorry if you don't like this, but I thought Jared Leto did a pretty decent job too. It's per movie, it's per TV. Mark Hamill will always be the voice of the Joker, but you've got to really remember that, think about the times that our country is in when these versions came out. Because we probably would have had the Joker for the long time. For a long time, we would have had the original version, if not for a guy named Dr. Frederick Wortham, who wrote a book called The Seduction of the Innocent and pretty much created the Comic Book Code's authority, which led to all the stupidity of the Silver Age but then again gave us the Bronze Age and the modern age of comics, so it all works out. I'm not answering that next question. If Carrot's in the if it's Carrot asking the question, he damn well he knows I'm not going to answer it.
No, I actually I'm going to say it. It's FRDIJK for. I'm not can't even say the name, but they got a wrench, so they've been around for a while. I wouldn't answer it either. I'm just putting all the questions up there. So the answer is Zero isn't here for that. Thank you, Zero. So you can move on to the next one. And I believe the CNC, what I mean by that is I think they want to compare and contrast between what you see there.
With the Joker?
Well, no, if you look, there's another question. It was like comic to Suicide Squad, and I added, I think they want to compare and contrast on that one. What do you think about the Suicide Squad comic book as compared, or excuse me, what do you think about the Suicide Squad, what they did in the movie as compared to anything that came out of a comic book?
I think it's all relative. I don't think the movie was handled as good as it should have been. I think it is faithful to the idea of the Suicide Squad. If you've ever actually, if you guys check that link, read Comics Online, .2, you can actually read old Suicide Squad books. Again, I think it's what the movie is prevalent to the New 52 and the Rebirth era, which I have not read and I won't read because I've got 75 years worth of stuff. You know, it's more than my lifetime that I can read if I want. But I think the movie is faithful to the idea of the Suicide Squad. The character of Amanda Waller specifically has been translated perfectly from the comic book era to the Justice League cartoon era to the movie era with Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. So I think that one character, Amanda Waller, has been basically kept intact from one format to the other perfectly. And that has to do, believe it or not, actually has to do with the writing and the actress Viola Davis, I believe. Wonderful. As for everything else, it's kind of hit or miss. I would say with Captain Boomerang being in there from the Flash's Rogue Gallery, I'm not a huge Jai Courtney fan. I think he really doesn't have much of an acting capability from what I've seen him in, but he makes the character so damn fun. And Captain Boomerang for the longest time was this big perverted lech, and they killed him off, and I'm glad they did. And then he came back during Blackest Night, and he was still kind of a douchebag, but they made him younger and stronger and thinner again after that. But Jai Courtney really brought something that I hadn't seen in Captain Boomerang for a long time, which was a little bit of maniacal flavor, like back in the old days of Barry Allen era Flash. So yeah, I think the comparison is go read the old stuff, but the movie pretty faithful to the idea of what Suicide Squad is. So pretty darn decent, even if the movie is loved or hated by others.
All right, and I invited a couple others that should be obvious right now. Zero, but I just want to remind everybody, Zero is doing his little thing today. So if you have any questions pertaining to, he's sticking to comic books right now, and we've got some as you know, what do you think about the transition from comic book to movie? Whatever y'all want to ask, Wolfshot. These people out here in the chat are among themselves and not giving too many good questions. So anything would be welcome right now. Oh, and if it's going to be quiet, somebody said, what about the guy who can climb everything? I don't know who this is. This is, excuse me, he told me how to say his name. So it's for Dyke, like Dick Van Dyke. What about the guy who can climb everything? He dies the first time he tries to climb something. I have no idea, Mr. Dyke, unless Zero does, what you're even speaking to there.
Right, and that was directed to me?
No, it was directed to Zero. If I say quiet, sorry. I'm not used to doing the producing thing. This is Doppelganger's job. So I'm like, I'm not good at the multitasking. So if I said the wrong name, it's because I'm looking at all kinds of different things. I actually, for Wolfshot to get here, I sent her the next question for Zero, and she was like, huh?
That was actually in reference to a Suicide Squad movie character called Slipknot. Now, I don't know the personal history of that character, but basically in the film, how I interpret it is he was pretty much, even if he is a real character in the DCU, which I have yet to run across, he was basically an expendable character in the in the movie because they wanted to make it that, you know, you screw around, this is exactly what's going to happen. Your head's going to get blown off. And again, that's leading back to that's leading back to Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang being a complete Looney Tune jackhat, hilarious. And he egged on Slipknot like, yeah, let's get out of here. This is bullshit and blah, blah, blah. And he gets his head blown up. So that was actually quite inventive in regards to storytelling. So the audience would know that Amanda Waller was not screwing around. And so I think Slipknot in the movie was just a throwaway character. Christian Bale or Ben Affleck? No. Michael Keaton. Sorry.
Get out.
Nope.
What? Seriously? I was actually agreeing with that one.
This is nope. Michael Keaton.
Get out.
Best Batman ever to me, Michael Keaton.
I'm not.
I hate to say it.
I'm here as a guest. I'm not goofing around today, people. If you ask me questions, I'm going to answer them seriously. There's no disrespect to anybody on the panel, but no get out goofing around stuff today.
Keaton was the best.
To me, Keaton was the best. But as I've said, every Batman for every generation. And I think each character, each interpretation of Batman, starting back in the 1940s serials of all things, which people don't know, everyone has brought something to the character. I know a lot of people don't like Ben Affleck as Batman. That's fine. I think he's really more Bruce Wayne anyway. But then you can get in the whole dichotomy of Batman versus Bruce Wayne, or is Bruce Wayne the mask that Batman wears, so on and so forth. I thought Christian Bale was an okay Batman, but I would still more say that the villains were really the villains and the side characters, such as Commissioner Gordon being played by Gary Oldman. I think the villains and the side characters and the additional cast in those three movies were really more of the flavor of those movies. And so I think Ben Affleck makes a better Bruce Wayne. I thought Christian Bale made a better Batman. I personally like Michael Keaton. And I think Adam West is someone that people look down on, unfortunately, but he really set the whole thing off with the interpretation of what Batman was for that time. And I think that in the upcoming Justice League movie, I really want to give people the opportunity to say, hey, give Ben Affleck a chance. I think with the Justice League movie, he's probably going to make a difference, because at the end of Batman versus Superman, which unto itself was a train wreck for the most part, when he is alone with Diana at Clark's quote-unquote funeral, he really starts showing how good his character can be. So give him a chance. But for me, it will be, for now, Michael Keaton. Now, this isn't anything to dissuade people from saying, oh, but I like Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer wasn't bad either. However, George Clooney was definitely not right for Batman in any way, shape, or form. Big fan of The Punisher, but I didn't really read the comic books. Follow the link that has been put in the chat and go read some old Punisher comic books. I think you, if you've seen the Dolph Lundgren movie, the Thomas Jane version, and then the Ray, oh crap, forgot Ray's name, but he was in Punisher Warzone, like anything else. Ray Stevenson. I think that you guys will thoroughly enjoy the Punisher series, especially Punisher Warzone.
Okay, I have a quick question because I'm just panel members. Do you have a question before I ask this? Because I'm just trying to be the good guy today.
I do. Have
Go
you
ahead.
read either The Max or anything from Frank Miller, like Sin City?
The Max was Sam Keith. Really good stuff. I'm actually sad to say that the Max as a character suffered from the whole 1990s debacle of oversaturation of the comic book market. Again, referring to SF Debris on YouTube. Go check his stuff out about the rise and fall of the comic book empire. And Sam Keith was a good writer. He was also a very good artist in his own style. And what was the other part?
Sin City.
Frank Miller.
Yeah.
I think Linkara has basically echoed my opinion on Frank Miller lately. He was good on Daredevil when he had his run. The Dark Knight Returns was great. DK2 and DK3, complete shambles. Sin City was great, both in the movie and the comics. But I think ever since then, Frank Miller's probably gone a little bit off the deep end in that he feels that if the characters aren't gritty and the women aren't portrayed as basically either sex objects, prostitutes, or background characters, that he couldn't write a good story to save his life anymore, which is sorry to say.
Unfortunately, I'd have to agree.
And I would also say that unlike Frank Miller, whether Alan Moore is dislikable as a person or not, his work to me has always been consistent. From the early days of his stuff, from Watchmen to Tom Strong and anything else that Alan Moore does. I personally like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That was really well done. And I thought Promethea was pretty darn heavy, but that was more of a one to make you think. But Alan Moore's always been consistent.
That's why I didn't really ask. Everyone loves what he puts out.
Yeah. So, but that's in comparison to Frank Miller. Chuck Dixon is writing novels now. Good. Chuck Dixon is a damn good writer. In fact, I remember his tenure on Batman during the Nightfall saga in the early 1990s. Chuck Dixon has always been good. I've always been a Wolfman Perez combo team of anything they've done, especially the Titans from 1980 and 1984. And there you go. So.
Okay, I got a quick one. Okay, Nicolas Cage is one of my favorite actors. It seems like no matter what he does, even The Wicker Man was pretty good, at least when he was on screen. What do you think about Nicolas Cage's portrayal of Ghost Rider? And what do you think about Ghost Rider in general after that?
Well, Ghost, to give an ultimately abridged history, throughout his various incarnations, and yes, there has been a female Ghost Rider, which is cool. Nick Cage was not right for Ghost Rider. And that's the movie. That's not Nick Cage's fault, in my opinion. I've watched Ghost Rider. I've watched the second one. Thank God there's not a third one. But the writing and direction just got terrible. And Nick Cage is one of those people. Go watch the Nostalgia Critics, anything with Nick Cage and Nostalgia Critics, Ghost Rider. I would say that's fair, but it's not Nick Cage. I never, for the most part, never have a problem with Nick Cage as an actor. I think that the script sucked. I think that the story was convoluted. And the other casting choices besides Donald Logue was it just ick. And Ghost Rider has a very complex history, going from Johnny Blaze to Dan Ketch to Ghost Rider 2099, Zarathos the demon possessing the bodies of the hosts that make the Ghost Rider, and the whole mythos of that. So, I would say, again, I will always refer to going to that link and reading comics for yourself and deciding for yourself. John Wagner, what about him?
I don't know. That was just something that said zero. John Wagner. I don't know what the hell. I thought you could make sense.
That name
zero.
does sound familiar.
Oh, Buttercup is using the blender again. Welcome, Buttercup. Are you making a margarita?
John Wagner of Judge Dredd.
Nope, eating.
It's cool. Thank you for that mute button, sweet thing. And you jump in as soon as you're done eating.
John
keep that meat on your bones,
Judge
sweetie.
Dredd Judge Dredd, one of my favorite characters. I would suggest people go find Judge Dredd, read his stuff. I think that's somewhere America could be heading really quickly if it becomes a necessity. I think 2000 AD is one of the best comic book lines ever. Judge Dredd has been around since, I believe, 1977. Very consistent, has some excellent villains. Judge Anderson, Judge Hershey are my favorite side characters, fellow judges. And although I tend to agree that the Stallone version of Judge Dredd was bad, especially since he took his mask off, that does give anybody who doesn't know Judge Dredd a good jumping off point. But I would definitely say watch the Carl Urban Dredd 2 2012 movie. Totally awesome. And there's, again, so much stuff that you can go for, but I've never been disappointed with John Wagner's stuff, or Judge Dredd specifically. Also, check out his Robohunter and Button Man series. Check anything out he's done with Batman. And in fact, check out the Batman Judge Dredd crossover. and check out his graphic novel, A History of Violence, which is based off of, which is adapted into the 2005 film of the same name, A History of Violence.
Yeah, no, that was quick. There's Zero. If you can see that, it says, what do you think of it being made into a series? And I'm assuming they mean the same thing we were speaking of.
What are their clarifications on that question, please?
I'm pretty sure they're talking about, let's see, this is the Guardian pilot. So, it might be something new. I thought this was a follow-up from the Judge Dredd thing. So this is actually someone else. So before he answers this, what do you think of it being made into a series? Would you please give a little clarification on that, on the Gundam, not the other one that I won't say, but the Gundam pilot. I love that. I think that's why I gave you a wrench. So clarify that a little bit, sir. And while he's thinking of how to follow it up, panel, question about comic. Oh, and he says, yes, Dredd. So what do you think of Judge Dredd being made into a series? And I think you may have. I'm doing a couple other things here. I'm not used to being the bitch boy, and I can see how much Doppelganger has to work doing it. Wasn't there 2 different Judge Dredds? And one of them was, I watched the one with Stallone. Wasn't there 2 Judge Dredds?
Yeah, one was a remake that came out recently.
No,
Okay.
Neither one of them are a remake. One doesn't have anything to do with the other. The first movie with Sylvester Stallone, as I mentioned, and then there was the 2012 adaptation of the Judge Dredd character, which is its own separate universe, which the TV show will be bouncing off of, is with Carl Urban. And I think that if they're going to do it, it's not going to be on TV, and it's probably going to be on something on Netflix. And if they do anything as good as they did with Daredevil, at least season 1, then that'll be very interesting, because I believe I was talking to Conscious Caracol about this. We're going to get to a point of being burned out on comic book movies. I'm already there, to be honest. And I think that if we do want television shows like Peggy Carter, which was, in my humble opinion, very short-lived, unfortunately, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Daredevil on Netflix, we want storytelling. We want characters to have a beginning, possibly a definitive end, but we want all the substance in the middle from beginning to end. We want solid stories.
I've been so quiet. This is killing me.
We want good character development, and I'm hoping we get that.
You loved Daredevil, but you did not love Gotham. Just before, and I don't want you to don't go on a nut on this, but just for my own satisfaction, before I just shut back up for another 20 minutes, I don't even want to go that long on you. I don't want to pound you too much. In fact, I'm gonna ask you how you feel in 15 minutes, Zero. So why one, not the other? Because I actually enjoyed both of them, but I have to say, if I had to pick, I would have picked. Well, I won't even say that. So why one, not the other? Compare and contrast to Gotham. And for those of you that don't know, Zero's already made it very clear that he didn't think a whole lot of the Gotham series. He gave some reasons why. If he wants to do that now, that's fine. But if he doesn't, that's fine too. Go back and look at another stream and you'll see why. So, what's the difference? Why did you like one and not so much like the other?
The Netflix Daredevil series, for one, is vastly superior. For the simple fact that not only does it tie into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but the actors and the actresses, and especially D'Onofrio as the Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin, everything is solid storytelling and writing. Yes, everything does have its ups and downs, and I think season 2 is a little bit weaker. But unlike anything that DC has put out, Smallville, which he apparently was in high school for 5 years for some reason. Goddamn, Birds of Prey was short-lived, unfortunately, and that was a great show. But Gotham is basically rebooting the Batman franchise for like the 100th time. And my biggest issue is it doesn't need to exist. The characters aren't the problem. Some of the writing is very lackluster, and I think fanboys just get goo-goo-eyed over nothing, and they're bringing out villains that didn't exist until after Batman first made an appearance. There's one character who I think they've done justice, because he is chronologically older than Batman, which was the Penguin. The Penguin was a crime lord in the Batman mythos before he made his first appearance in the comic. He was an established villain. but he wasn't Batman's villain. And if they would focus more on the backstory of the villains as opposed to trying to give them their superpowers and making them appear as fast before Batman is Batman, then they would stop shooting themselves in the foot. You could actually make this about James Gordon's rise through rank. You could have Harvey Bullock and other people in there that, you could have all this backstory of all these other characters and leave Batman out of it, but you don't want to. All you want to do is promote Batman and Batman characters, because that's how Warner Brothers basically makes its money. They don't have the capability of focusing on anything else. They're just that dumb sometimes. But you brought Catwoman out. That doesn't work. Selena Kyle, in any of her incarnations, whether she was the Cat from the 1940s or Selena Kyle, who was the former prostitute in the Frank Miller series of The Dark Knight before becoming Catwoman, which, by the way, was inspired by Batman to become Catwoman. She's around the same age as Batman, maybe give or take a few years. There's no reason you would have Catwoman as Catwoman, or even in the storyline for Gotham. The whole show is a mess. I mean, it's worse than the current Flash series. Now, two series which I think have done very well in contrast, and they've proven it, is Supergirl and Arrow, which is about Supergirl, the cousin of Superman, and Green Arrow. Perfectly done. Everything does have their flaws, but they still make sense. They're relative to a character starting out and going through the ranks, becoming the superhero that they're supposed to be, dealing with everything and having the villains and everything, and basically solid story. So,
and I beg pardon, Zero, but I know you're right in something, and if you got to finish before, but you've been doing that very well, and I think we got the gist. Again, Dyke is asking, and they got to leave. That's why I broke in.
Yeah.
What do you think about Marvel going full political agenda? I got to do this to you, mate, because we're getting close to the end of what I'm going to pound you on. So I have to know, and that's such a poignant question. What do you think about comic books getting political? And I'm going to add to it. Have they done this in the past? Did Stan Lee do this? Did the greats that you mentioned the other day do this?
Comic books have always been representative of the time that they're made in. X-Men especially were the comic book equivalent to Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, two great civil rights leaders. And the X-Men storylines, especially since day one, have always dealt with prejudice on certain levels. But if you're in reference to social justice warrior type mentalities in the comic books of the Marvel Universe, look at their sales as compared to DC or anybody else. It speaks for themselves. I don't have anything to say on it because they screwed up, they got caught, and they're trying to fix it, and DC's kicking their ass. So it speaks for themselves. Or it speaks for itself, I should say.
I have to totally agree. I am and we're not getting into this. The host already said that we're not getting into it. So there's a difference between DC and Marvel. I am a Marvel. I love Marvel. I was going to pull out some comics. In fact, I'm going to take myself off camera, and before you go, I'm going to show a couple comics that I have, and I'm going to make a couple statements about those. But you hit the nail on the head. I'm not going to belabor it because you don't want to. Marvel has been doing this since the early 70s. DC, they don't get too much into the real world. It's Gotham City. It's not New York City. Like if you know, Marvel's New York City, right? Daredevil's in New York City. Spider-Man's in New York City. They're all in New York City. And so there's a difference. And you're right. They got caught. So I did send you something else there, I believe. No, I didn't. I'm not going to send the other one. There's there's one more follow-up on this. So I'm going to cut loose on the panel. Panel, you've been very quiet. I would like to give kudos to both of y'all, Butter and Quiet. You've been very quiet, no pun. And so have I. I've tried. But now that we've given them a chance, let's see if we can spring something else, unless our host has something else to say.
I got a question.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with your Marvel or DC or anything, but what's like? I assume you're a connoisseur of the genre in general, comic books and everything.
I'm over 40 years old, and I learned to read, actually learning to read from comic books as opposed to textbooks and novels. So yeah, I know
So,
something of the
what are
genre.
your thoughts on Johnny the Homicidal Maniac?
Never read it.
No?
I've heard of it.
Oh, you
And I've
wound
never-
me, sir.
Well, good, but no, seriously. But I've never heard anything negative about it. In fact, I've heard some people mention the name in passing. They said they like it, and I said, okay, that's cool. So honestly, independent comics or stuff that isn't in my realm of what I know, I never have anything negative to say. Which again is why I watch a lot of Linkara, and I go check out other people on YouTube that have different comic book knowledge than I do. So yeah, I've
Well,
heard
that is
nothing
one
bad
you
about
should
that.
definitely check out.
Yeah, I got a lot of things to check out, so I'll put that on the list.
But y'all, we're talking about. Oh man, I can't even remember Zero. You were on with some other folks that knew a lot about comic books and Japanese stuff, and y'all were talking about stuff. I actually have it in my favorites, and I'm gonna check it out. But this is a Thor comic book from quite a long time ago. I'll have some things to say about them, not just Thor, but about comic books in general.
It only
And,
costs 30 cents.
Oh yeah, no, I'm showing these because this one is relatively valuable, and by that I mean it's worth $25-30, and that's not like the value that it says because it's got it's bookend. It's not. I think it's what they call a medium condition. It's not poor. It's a little bit above poor. This one is in. I won't take it out of the sleeve to even show you. I shouldn't have it where I have it sitting where the light can hit it because I have this on my dresser. But I do love Thor. These are comic books that the King of Esty gave me, a friend that's been on a couple times. He'd probably be on this weekend. Very near dear friend of mine. But this one was 40 cents when it was bought. But and like I said, I don't want to hijack this, and I just want to politely ask you. This is my segue into asking this. Zero, how much more time do we have with you, with the panel, and any more straggling questions that may come in?
Oh, I have all day. It just we can
Okay.
change topics anytime you want.
Oh, no. I'm going to switch, but let me assure you of one thing, sir. We are not going to talk about a certain ex-FBI director.
I know you're not talking
and
about it
all
right
the-
now.
No, fuck no. We ain't talking about it today.
Wait, the cross-dresser?
I didn't even want to talk. Yeah, it don't matter. It could have been him or another one or one that was
That
way
one
back
guy
then,
that we don't
Hoover
know.
or this. It don't matter because we know Hoover. When he says that, we know. If you don't know, if you didn't think of J. Edgar Hoover, you're a moron. That's what he meant. But yes,
Oh, yeah.
it's.
That's why I
we'll
said,
say- and-
we know who we're talking about. Yeah,
and so,
my Twitter speaks for itself on that subject today.
oh, man.
Oh,
No,
God,
look,
does it
let's go. Let's please shift because tomorrow the British will be here. Our safety blanket will be here. It'll be the normal day. There'll be a few more people here. But what I got to say, Zero, is I knew that on an off day there wouldn't be that as many folks watching as usually do and all that because I don't stream today. I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But this is important, Zero. Let me ask you this question before I just cut it loose to everything, because right now we're going to cut it loose to everything. And yes, we're going to go away from this because I have a question for you about the movie The Shining about Stanley Kubrick that I'd like to ask you here in a minute if you do have the time. What's important? I mean, Tehran, Qatar, whatever you want to call it. I ain't talking about that shit today. But what's important?
Anal
On the
sex.
hill. Yeah. So enough said.
What
Because
is it-
God,
what is
God
important?
saved me. But what I think is important is art. Whatever you consider art, love, life, what makes you happy. And Comey don't make me happy. So let's move on.
I think what is important is God, country, friends, family, food, beer, and keeping your sanity.
Hallelujah. You mentioned beer again. I'll never have you
There
on
are
another
too
stream of
many-
mine, mate.
There are too many things in this country going on right now that are depleting our mental facilities and our faculties, and it's just we can't have heavy subjects all the time. Now, speaking of heavy subjects, let's talk about Stanley Kubrick, the great Stanley Kubrick, and The Shining. I want other people on the panel and you and Ogre to talk about this more than I do. I think that if it wasn't for Stanley Kubrick doing Stephen King's The Shining, which Stephen King didn't like the movie version of, Too Damn Bad, Stephen, a lot of people wouldn't know who Stephen King is of my generation.
Oh, well, I got to speak up very quickly and say Carrie. And here's the problem. If you look at The Shining, I know quite a lot about this, and I don't want to dominate this, but I will say this. In the book, they drove a red Beetle, a red VW Bug, up to the that's what they drove. That's what the family had. In Stanley Kubrick's version, there was a red Beetle, and it was actually crushed. When you seen, oh man, I'm having some brain seizures. That's because I said I knew about it. Now I can't think of any names. Halloran. When Halloran was going up to check on him, you see a log truck was flipped over and crushed a red Beetle. And it was just because, listen, what's the difference between horror and suspense? I'll tell you. Horror is a bomb going off in a restaurant, blowing everybody to bits. Suspense is being in that restaurant and seeing a timer on a bomb that you can't quite make out 5 seats away from you. And King gave him beautiful source material and wrote a horror story. I just listened to the finish of it with, oh man, I'm telling you, I'm brain seized. I'm not good with names on my best day, and I'm having brain seizures on names. The narrator on The Shining for Stephen King is very good for the book. I just finished listening to it. And man, I'm telling you, the whole thing, that is a horror story. The movie, Stanley Kubrick, man, what a genius. The movie was suspense. There was not much alike. You had a topiary in the book. You had a hedge maze in the movie. You had room. Oh man, I've got so many brain farts. I'm going to shut the fuck up now. But what I got to say is this: Stanley Kubrick was a genius that saw the source material and made it fit his lens, his eye, his camera shot eye that he had. And well, maybe it pissed King off, but Zero, that was a long way to answer this. No way, sir. Carrie had already been made. If you go back and watch Carrie, you were talking about Wonder Woman the other day and the colors and the vividness. Holy shit. Go watch Carrie, folks. The scene where she's in the shower in the opener is pretty good, but there's some scenes where she's walking home from when she's on her period in the shower, and the vividness in the camera angles, the lighting of the day that they chose, everything was so wonderful. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Zero, I can't tell you who directed Carrie, but I can tell you this.
Brian De Palma.
Oh, Brian De Palma. You're right too. Thank you, De Palma. A good horror director and many others. Anyway, I can't see that made Stephen King's movie career, but it did show that Kubrick is a master. He can take excellent material and make it better Stephen King, whether you like it or not.
You know, I think let me segue into something similar to that subject. I think the problem is Stephen King's a damn good writer, but I think he's better at suspense and leading you up to horror than a straight out Freddy versus Jason, killing kind of horror, which
Clive Barker, he's not a Clive Barker.
Clive Barker is a genuine horror writer. Stephen King is great because he lets your mind wander and he lets it think what it's going to think. And he's still taking you down a path, but he's going to let your mind wander. And when you get to where you're going, that's the suspense. That's the horror of the whole journey that you didn't realize. I think with The Stand, that movie coming out, I'm not going to say anything, but I think that is going to be, the proof is in the pudding that the book is better. But I think with, The Dark Tower, The Stand, the TV miniseries with Gary Sinise, was reflective of the book of how good the proof was in the pudding, how good the pudding really was. And I think The Stand and Sometimes They Come Back are my two favorite film adaptations besides The Green Mile and Shawshank Redemption, which Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile are not horror. They're actual crime thriller suspense. So he's better at suspense and leading you into something horrific than a straight out Clive Barker, Freddy or Jason horror type movie. And that's why I think people get upset when his books are translated into film, because everybody perceives it wrong.
I went on Tangent 2 panel, so feel free to ask anything. And I want to say, someone asked Zero, man, listen, man, this is the way it is. I do this shit like 3 days a week. So a lot of times I do it Sunday. They'll draw you back, and just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. And somebody did ask up here, who was it? Very, Very Blue said, what's up, talking comics? And we've been building up this comic and stuff. So if you do get another question for comics, if you don't mind, I might shoot it back to you. But right now, Very, Very Blue and everybody else, we're kind of drifted off into the realm
now
of
we're going
movies.
into movies and books. We're going into non-comic genre. So we're going into books and movies.
So before I ask the question that I have, panel, y'all got anything for either one of those two things, movies or books?
I was just going to say, speaking on The Shining, I liked Stanley's movie version, and I also kind of enjoyed the 90s miniseries. I kind of wish that they could combine elements from the two.
I own it. I own the 90s miniseries, and daggone Rebecca, I'm So Horny, is the hottest woman that ever lived.
That miniseries, okay, so I grew up in the 90s, and that miniseries gave me nightmares. I watched it probably before I should have, like on TV with my entire family.
But what part gave you nightmares before you move on? What
the lady in the bathtub, of course.
Oh man, that was bad. But
yeah, that's pretty much a scar on everyone.
Since that was so
I still check behind my shower curtains. I'm not even gonna lie. I check other people's shower curtains too.
I leave mine open. Fuck it, I'm not taking that fucking chance.
I check other people's shower curtains.
What if you get home and they're closed? There's this audio book called.
I get my fucking gun. Fuck that shit.
LT's Theory of Pets. Stephen King reads it in front of an auditorium in England, and he starts out by saying, well, you got to ask yourself when you leave here, we're relatively safe right now, but when you go home, he actually starts out by saying, when you get in your car, there's mad people in this city, and this is Stephen King, just being Stephen King before he reads the book. Look in your back seat, there may be somebody there. And he says, and then when you get home and you're using the restroom, if you look at the shower and the curtain's closed and you don't remember if you closed it, just check. Anyway, that's so good. So I'm sorry. So other than the old lady, because everybody will say the old lady, and then quiet if you got something else, because the mini-series to me, I love Kubrick, but it was better. It was because it was so long, I think, maybe. But whatever. What else other than the old lady, the nasty lady from 223, what was the worst part that kept you up at night? Because I got
probably the fucking creepy ass twins. Like, I saw it when I was little, so like those little kids, come play with us, quiet, forever and ever and ever.
No, that wasn't the mini. That wasn't the miniseries. That was not the miniseries.
Oh, I know. I thought
that was the movie.
Talking about both.
Well, we're okay. That's fine then. So for you, it was the twins. So I gotta press butter because I can see that she's 10 years younger than me. So to her, she even said it. She watched it earlier. So what was it about the miniseries that just made you shit a brick and terrified you?
No, that's the thing. I saw the miniseries like later, so I didn't really care. Like, I also saw the Pet Sematary when I was really, really fucking little, and that terrified the shit out of me. And then when I grew up and I watched it again, I'm like, I was such a pussy. So, like, I should have seen the miniseries earlier. I don't know. It didn't get to me. But yeah, those fucking twins.
Oh, dead air. And I was in butter. I want to know from you. So we had the old lady. I'm going to do a bong swat. I was just getting some nasty, what do you call it? Like honey oil, earwax, whatever you call it. Just popped it on top there. I just, somebody was cutting grass today and they got a lot of finger hash is actually what this is called. They're a good friend of mine. They brought me a big ball of finger hash. You know, when you're clipping, you get the stuff on your scissors and you get it on your fingers and you like, anyway, that's what I'm going to smoke right now. So Buttercup and Zero Cool. He's my age though. Look, before I pass it off this way, I'm going to say this. I'm 43 years old and I don't get it quiet. I still get freaked out by everything we're talking about. You know, it's not that I get so scared I can't sleep, but you know, I'll be out, close my chickens up and it's after dark and it's like, I'll look behind my shoulder because I expect to see, you know, Mike Myers there or somebody. So what was it about the movie Zero, and starting with Buttercup, outside of the old lady, if you saw the miniseries, that was the worst part for you? I got one. I'm telling you, I got one.
You know, I think the worst part for me was not any of the scary pop-up villains, but just the idea of being isolated in the mountains for months at a time, and just the thought that you know that it would absolutely drive you crazy because cabin fever is a thing. So I think that was the thing that freaked me out the most, was just the possibility that something like that could happen. And especially like if you're in a place you don't know, and you don't know what's going to happen to you. You don't know what's around every corner. So I guess it was the psychological freak out for me. And yes, even as a small child, I experienced that.
For me, it was the point where he turned and his wife comes down the stairs, Rebecca De Mornay. He's in he's in Ullman's office, and where all the keys are, and he just trips out. It's where he actually hits Rebecca De Mornay with the roque mallet right in the abdomen, and he tweaks out. And it's for the same reason you just said, Buttercup. It's because none of us know the animal within. We don't know what we could become. And that terrified me to think that, fuck, if I was put in that position, could I be this animal? Sorry, Zero.
I think Buttercup is right. And I saw a quick question that says, who owned Hellboy? That was Mike Mignola. Go read his comic books. But I think Buttercup made a very good point about that. I think that's, like I said in the side chat here, I said, I think people who had the 1990s miniseries were luckier to get the more fuller versions of said books into other formats. And I think that for as much as people pan the eras that they were made, because they did TV shows or TV miniseries, they were able to flesh out more than you would in a movie. And with the Shining with Steven Weber in it as opposed to Jack Nicholson, I think it was really playing more to your fear of paranoia with being isolated, and it was more suspenseful, which led up to the horror again. And I think that was definitely the thing that you got over the Kubrick version, which is really a good thing, because it really did lead straight to you get the flavor of being attached to the main character as if you're walking right next to him and dealing with the other people on an intricate level that the movie didn't give. So I think that's what the best part about the miniseries was. It was really screwing with your expectations and really taking you on that road to lead you to the horror, but it made you psych yourself out.
And straight,
and that's the best part about Well, I was going to say, that's the best part about any horror movie. It's the suspense that leads to the scare. Now you have a bunch of, movies and shit that just like pop out at you, and it gets that cheap little jump, that knee-jerk reaction, and then it's over really quick. Like the miniseries, it actually got you building. Like I think Zero said, it makes you think. Your mind wanders of where it can go. Even if you know the story, it just lets you wander. And that's what I like about, certain things like that, especially the miniseries. Like, I don't know, it gets to you, but I don't know, the moment it's over, it's just over.
Yeah, because, I love Jack Nicholson, and no offense to his character in the movie, but it's Jack Nicholson, You're watching Jack Nicholson be Jack Nicholson, basically. Whereas, what did you say the guy's name was that was in the miniseries? Because, I don't know.
Steven Weber.
There you go. I liked his portrayal better. I felt like he was just a normal guy, just slowly losing his mind. So, I don't know. Maybe I liked his portrayal a little bit better. But I mean, it's Jack Nicholson. You can't. I love Jack Nicholson.
That's blasphemy. But I can't even. Since you said it first, sweetie, I agree with you. The way he rubbed the back of his hands when he's down by the boiler and he's like reading. The guy from Wings, Weber, he fucking blew it out, man. I got to give it to him.
In all fairness, one thing that I do have to say is big Hollywood stars, like, they're typecast, so you see them in a lot of crap. And it honestly kind of destroys the story, because even if they're a great actor and they knock it out of the park, you do know them from other roles and other, movie shows, and you just know them, so it kind of takes you out of it. I like watching
Great point.
B-class.
Good point. I'm
Right,
sorry.
that's what I was
continue.
saying.
Yeah, continue. That's a great point, though, because we can see Jack is like an easy writer. But go ahead, Quiet. That was a great point. Give us some examples.
Oh my god. Okay, so well, the first point, obviously, Jack Nicholson. You know him as this kind of guy. And then, okay, let's go with, perfect example. Fucking Ryan Reynolds. Great actor. He fits certain roles, but he also, no homo, has somewhat homo. He has a rockin' bod. Like, I don't know any guy that wouldn't be like, yeah, I want that.
Fucking asshole, he does too.
I know, and it's just like, okay, so he's a funny guy. He has a rockin' bod, and
He ain't
fits
that
certain
great.
Oh, whatever. He has a
No.
rockin' bod, and he is funny. The way he delivers lines is funny. So putting him in Deadpool, it was a good fit. But if you were to put him in another role, Green Lantern, he was in Green Lantern. He didn't really fit the bill for Green Lantern. Sure, if we didn't see all of his previous work, we might have accepted him more. Ben Affleck, same way. Let's see. Leonardo DiCaprio in The Departed. We've seen a lot of good work from Leonardo. But in The Departed, personally, what I think was his best role still didn't fit the bill. People were expecting, Loverboy from Romeo and Juliet, Titanic, shit like that. The more someone is used in a certain role, the more it kind of takes away from the story, no matter how well it's written. If you have disagreements, I'm fine to hear them. This is, subjective, not objective.
No, I don't have many, but I'll say this. Ryan Reynolds, the problem is, for me with Ryan Reynolds, is that they showed him as Deadpool in Marvel with like a black thing on with there was it was in X-Men.
God, that was awful.
Okay,
It was so
people are dead.
stupid. And then they brung it back to the real thing, and man, they really kind of screwed him. But the rebirth, I should say the first one, really, but it was the rebirth because what I just mentioned. Man, I thought that I haven't shown it to my wife because she would hate it. But the Deadpool, holy fuck, they're doing this, like you said, Quiet. I mean, come on. If you don't say that in your heart of hearts, you just wish that you were a little more like Ryan Reynolds, well, you're a cuck and a faggot. That's just the way it is.
It's a little true. Just a little.
Yeah, man. Look, I sent the thing out, and I don't know if a Sith white male will come in, anybody else. But we're getting close, folks. In about another, what's it look like, 12 minutes, I'm going to editorialize for about 10 or 15 minutes. Y'all are welcome to stay, but it would be probably mind-numbingly boring. I just do this now because it's so much easier for me. Oh, especially today when Zero Cool has so graciously hosted the first solid hour, man. Just took it over and did a wonderful job, Zero. I tell you, I'm going to try this more often in the future. We started with Doppelganger, and now you'll be the second guest host. I hope that the third one is a female, Butter, but it could be you. It
What?
could be a couple. Never mind. Just mute yourself when you're making all that noise. That's why I said your name. So we're going to go on. We're going to go on for like another now 11 minutes. Unless I shut up, it'll be 10. And I'm going to say, look, if you got any last questions, a few of you that are left hanging on here, I know it's an off day. Church is not supposed to be in session. Thank you for showing up. Give them now. And I'm going to leave it on this as far as the Kubrick and all the ideas of switching one thing to another. Man, my bro, the Britisher, got a wonderful piece of art commissioned from Nazi Free. All y'all can do that. Anybody watches and subsequent watchings can do the same thing. Get up with Nazi Free. He'll do you a caricature, a portrait, whatever you want. He will draw or paint anything you want. He's just going to charge you. And when he changed his icon from one that may or may not, and the Britisher still to this day is like, really, Mr. Ogre? Certainly copyright wouldn't play into the issue. And I don't know, man. The thing that he was using at that time was from a movie. So now he's got one. When he made that change, oh my goodness, go look at the video where he, switches. Hi, Straight Sis Man, we'll get to you. When he switches over, there was nothing but hate. I would say out of the, I haven't looked in a while, so there may be more, but out of the 60, 70, 80 comments there were, mine and maybe one or two, oh, he left. Come on back, brother. I'm almost done. Mine or maybe one or two others were the only ones that were decent, were nice. Everybody else was like, fuck, I hate this new one. The reason people hate change. So I just read The Stand just recently. I watched The Stand, the movie, short, just like the, everybody should know if they don't. There's a movie made by Stephen King, and I think it was ABC, where they did The Stand. It's 4-part miniseries. Great. I own it. Oh, it might be right here. Oh yeah, look, no kidding. Look, I'm not even joking with you. I own it. I love this. But as somebody that loves the book, and they go into, oh man, love the book, it was hard for me to accept that. So change is the issue with people. It's our problem. If something changes, we don't necessarily love it. So I don't go on a tirade, because I said I was going to do that in a couple minutes here. Straight Sith Male. Since you're here, brother, I'm going to go for another like 15 minutes to make sure everybody has their say, and then some. Talk about anything you want to ask, any questions you want pertaining to the subject or anything else.
Anything at all.
Dead air! Yay!
These on the bus go round and round, round and round.
Yeah, Ogre has to reboot himself again because he blinked out on us. I can hear you two, but I can't hear anybody else.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay,
Yeah,
if somebody was
just
asking,
I'm
muted.
still here.
No, I just realized my thing was muted. Straight Sith Man.
gotta stop screwing around with your Bluetooth, Ogre.
No, it wasn't my Bluetooth this time. I'm actually was trying to do my thing with for you, and I forgot. That I was
He's
muted.
touching stuff.
I think that I was talking for a while there. I wasn't on microphone. Let me have a little bit of this Topo Creek going. So anyway, Straight Sith Male is here, and if you didn't hear a daggone thing I said for a while, oh yeah, King, yeah, I'll shoot the thing out here again. Yeah, I sent the link out. Straight Sith Male is here. I'm just waiting for him to be able to say something. I do believe you've been in a stream of mine before. I can't remember if you had microphone issues then or not, but you'll get it worked out, man. You'll get it figured out. We got Zero is still here, so there you go. There he is. What's up, King? Am I the only one that can't hear a fucking thing?
I hear
Nope,
wind.
you're not the only one.
I hear Buttercup and her cell phone.
Me too.
Can you hear the wind?
Me
Yes.
too.
So windy. I'm
Maybe.
sorry, I have to be outside because I'm stuck waiting at my work after I got off work, and they don't like places don't like when you go inside and talk to
You
yourself
need a
like a psycho.
You need
What?
to build You need to build yourself a teleporter.
I know, right? I don't know what parts I need for that though.
Can you guys hear me?
So if
now?
anyone can tell me
Hopefully
what
that helps.
parts I need for a
Little bit.
teleportation machine,
Maybe that'll help right there. What I just did. Oh my!
no, really,
gracious,
does
just
anybody
some
know what
strange-
parts I need for a
strange
teleportation
noises.
machine?
I thank God, Straight Sith Male, King, everybody here. Thank goodness that this is just an off day, and that Zero did such a wonderful job at the beginning of the hour. Because right now it's just a debauch. This does remind me of a certain testimony on the Hill today. I won't mention. I'm so
Then
pissed
stop
off, Zero. I
mentioning
can't
it.
wait for tomorrow. I can't help it, man. My soul. I feel like somebody stepped
This
on my
ain't the
penis
place for
head.
that, man, or I'm gonna cry.
Okay.
Well, OJ Simpson,
Right.
we're talking about court, right?
Yeah, we're
Every
talking
time
about
you
O.J.
have-
Simpson, remember that shit? Somebody here remembers that? I was 21 when that happened.
I
I was in high school
very
when that
little
happened.
to me. I was very, very
Dude, I can hear you now, King.
Cool. I think it might be an issue with my mic. I don't know.
Man, I totally recognize you.
Let me tell- But Ogre, you want to hop in for
Yes.
some Cards Against Humanity tomorrow?
Can you hear
Pardon
me?
me, sir?
Yes, we
I
can.
said you can hear me.
Yeah, we got you. 5 by 5,
right.
Seth.
I'm just on my phone, bro, so it's not going to be the best sound quality.
I like your ceiling.
It is very
I
nice.
like your nipple light. It's a good nipple light.
You're doing fine. What'd you say, King? You said something about tomorrow.
Tomorrow, me, Sophane, and Chief Mojo Rising are going to play some Cards Against Humanity. I was going to see if you guys wanted to hop in as well.
Ooh, I want in. I just like playing Cards Against Humanity. I don't care who's there.
Yeah. Send me a link.
right.
I think I'm actually subbed you, but send me a link to your dealio. Hey, what up, Stray Sith Male? I can finally see you. You actually look like a Sith to me. When I imagine a Sith, it looks like you.
That's my actual fate. Fucking second time doxing myself. Ah, fuck it. I don't give a shit.
I always dox myself. I'm a gamer. Go figure.
And what are they
I
going to
prefer
do?
my
Come rape our
avatar.
mamas? There's nothing they can do anyway. Fuck them, man.
Exactly.
I prefer
I
my
got a few
avatar.
knives
Some ugly motherfucker.
today.
Fuck it.
What are they going to do? Take
Anyway.
private pictures of yourself with your penis out and put them online?
Oh my god.
You'd need a microscope for mine.
I'm actually going to post an invite to my Discord server
Sorry.
because everyone is in my Discord server, like Sophie and Chief Mojo Rising, play through and talk through my Discord server when we play tomorrow.
Oh, that's why I know you. You're not Chief Mojo Rising. He's got an English accent.
I was in that stream with Stags that you hopped in.
Oh, right. You were with the dumb drunk fucker Ghost Hunter.
Yep.
Yeah, DDF Ghost Hunter, man. He's badass. I've just caught up yesterday with all his videos. They're not really super long, and man, they're out there.
He's amazing.
Amazing dude, man.
He is, and he's actually really cool talking with too.
Man, this is finally getting
Also,
off everything
what
now. I'm so glad. Who's got the echo? And
That
whoever
last
does.
video, my girlfriend thought I was watching porn because you were eating the cake and drinking the milk, fucker.
Oh, I'm sorry. Me? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you.
I took that video down.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't get that. I didn't put it on my computer fast enough. I got a couple of years that I've done on the YouTube downloader thing. I didn't get that one fast enough. You took it down. Put it back up.
I can send it to you if you want it. I'm literally just eating cake and drinking milk. But Run and Guns, he actually took the video and edited it for me and added some subtitles to it.
Oh, kind of like what happened with Markiplier when he was just staring at a banana.
No, but she eats. She's eating that sweet stuff, man. I don't know why. It's strangely appealing to me, also.
Well,
I
he ended
got
up eating
6
cereal and
dislikes
stuff,
on that
too.
video.
Really?
6 people disliked me eating cake and drinking milk.
Yeah.
Well, you
were
social
talking about
justice
that.
warriors.
They're diabetics that can't eat cake.
Yes. This SJW bitches. Whatever.
Chicken.
I'll tell you
may-
one thing. There is a difference between watching you do that, and I don't know if anybody has seen the there's 2 girls that eat these chocolatey marshmallow things. The bunny oh my gracious, it's been so long since I've seen it. Now I'm gonna totally brain fart it. But these 2 girls, one is so heavy that her brow is fat. And they do the
yes, I've seen what you're talking about.
chubby bunny challenge.
Yeah, the chubby
so
bunny
they-
challenge. I know.
there is a difference between that and what you and what you did to me. So I'm not going to thumbs down on that. Actually, I'm one of your thumbs up on that.
Well, I may
Hey,
re-upload
Pac-Man.
it. I may re-upload it with an intro, because I had. I don't know if you've run across him in chats or no Nomadic Tin Man. Do you know who that is?
Names
I-
sound familiar.
Oh,
He's
yeah, it's
got,
been a
like,
while, but
one of the
I was
best
on-
voices. So I had him record like 5 different intros for me. So I may use one of those.
Yeah, Beard
And
Barry. I was
re-upload
on
it.
a stream with Tin Man and Beard Barry, and Sophane was there. Man, that guy, Dolphin Radio, if no one knows who he is, I have
Motherfucking Raider.
voice, but Dolphin Radio's good. But Tin Man, he has got the smoothest voice on YouTube that I know of.
Well, I now
No.
am in possession of 5 different intros for my channel done by Tin Man.
I got like 3 different intros that I use, so I know the feels.
So I may re-upload it at a later date with an intro. I haven't decided. I may take all the video. Well, I don't know what to do with it. I don't like people going and disliking my stuff, but I did get 30 views, and I think I only had it up for like 8 hours.
I think it's hilarious, man. I download if it's close. If I've like got 10 likes and 9 dislikes, or 10 and 10, I'll dislike it so it puts the dislikes up. I think it's funny because they got to go watch you to dislike you. In fact, Poisoning the Well, when Sofane said that on the stream the other day, man, it was like, oh, and I know I've watched all their shit. They will pin the worst comment they can find. They'll pin that to the top. It's all for the lulz, man. I don't know what else to say. It's funny.
Exactly.
That's why I put the video up in the first place, was for the lulz. I even put in the description that it's a joke video. So I don't understand how people are getting butthurt about it. Meanwhile, my white supremacy shit posting video doesn't have any dislikes to it.
So did you see the video that came out today, or it was pretty recent, that this person who calls herself the Flat Earth Nurse made a video about how AIDS and diseases are fake?
Oh God, fucking flat earthers, dude. These motherfuckers actually think that the goddamn mountains were trees.
I know.
That ties in, but I will only say this: if you look at the evidence, and I don't know, I'm up in the air on the flat, if it's flat or round. I really am. It's because I don't trust anybody. If you look, I've done experiments with telescopes. It freaks me out. That's all I'll say. Because when you look at it, if the world is round and it's dropping at 8 inches per mile squared by the distance, I can stand in Grand Rapids, Michigan, put out my telescope, and I can see the base of the Chicago skyline. I should only be able to see the very tips of the white. Because if it's on and Ocean's on a Ball, I play a lot of stuff in Dolly Music. So that said, listen, okay, refraction, fine. I've seen buildings in the sky too, and they explain it by refraction. So whatever, maybe. All I'm saying is that the math and the evidence is very, very hard to understand for me.
Ogre. So my question here for flat earthers. I'm sorry. Go ahead, buddy.
No, Sith. I was asking you, please, because I'm not a flat earther.
So
I am an apologist. Yeah, please.
If the Earth is really flat, and if there's government forces around making sure that it's flat, to what end? Who are the people that are controlling us, and why are they controlling us? And what is the end goal for said entities? Maybe I don't fucking know. Anything spiritual, aliens, fucking goddamn.
You just want to make me look like a fucking fool. So do you want me to tell you that I don't know, or do you want me to tell you what I think, what I only think that I could never? Okay.
Yeah, give me your thoughts, man.
Holy fuck, man, that's a toughie. What I believe is that if you look around you right now, if you look around, it's fine, because I don't mind saying. Because I question so many things. I've been looking in the Bilderbergers, man. As soon as Alex Jones released a thing on the Bohemian Grove, I was like, holy fuck. And yeah, I follow Mark Dice, and I've been reading. I could start pulling out books right now, man. And so it's all. This is what I think. Look, I'm hemming and hawing, Sith, because you're badass, man. You came in a trolling baby, and I liked you for it. I gave you a wrench, and I don't know what you thought about that, but there was a reason I did that, because I like diversity of ideas. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. So that said, bam, I'm done hemming and hawing. I think that if you look all around you, that it goes forever. I'm not sure how far up it goes, but for where we're at, not very far. They shot a lot of missiles up and maybe tried to crack the dome that's there. Why they're trying to hide it from us, I don't know. But I got 2 ideas. One is that they just don't want you to know. They want you to be a slave. They don't want anybody going, because I don't know if that dome goes all the way to the bottom. It seems like Admiral Byrd and some others, and don't believe everything you read from his memoirs. Some of them are real, some of them are fucking fake. Look at Staggerson Jags to tell you all about it. And it's Staggers and Jags. If he was here right now, he'd be trying to cut me. So if I didn't answer that, let me very quickly now, let me put a point on it. So I don't know why, but 2 reasons. One, because they don't want you to get out like the Truman Show or like Dark City. Or 2, they don't want you to know that right up there is what you alluded to, that there's something that goodness knows I would know what it was, up right there watching us. And
okay, that's the reason. That's great. That's the reason. My question is, who?
Oh man, I'm not even gonna try. I took so long on that one. I could not, brother.
Hey, can I take a stab at this?
It's the lizard people. It's always the lizard people.
That's fucking crazy, and the moon's not hollow. All that shit. David Icke is a fucking lunatic. So
can
yes,
I take a stab?
If it's at me, go ahead. I'm here for. I did a whole thing with Kaboom. I did a podcast on flat Earth. I want to make it very before I go because I've been called out on this. Fine, fuck you, suck my fucking Jew cock. I can take any side. If I've studied it long enough and know it, and somebody that says, "Oh, you flip it blah 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 about Doug," well, that's because I know how to debate and I know how to defend. I know how to give an apologia, and that's all I'll do. So go ahead, quiet.
You're a Bible man, right?
Give me 1 second, guys.
No, not necessarily. I don't think I've ever said that. I'm a study it. I like Sun Tzu's Art of War, and I do like Psalms and Proverbs. Proverbs probably right up there with the Art of War. I do like some of the Gospels in the New Testament, but I don't know what you mean by that. You have to be more clear.
Well, I mean, you were a pastor, so I'm assuming you've read the Bible.
Oh, well, not all of it. Numbers and Deuteronomy get kind of boggy down.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't remember Noah's father's name.
Oh, that was Enoch.
Enoch. There we go. Thank you.
Enoch he walked with God.
Enoch. He was brought to the heavens and saw the curve of the earth.
Oh, yeah, no, don't get me wrong, because people use the Bible to say, but no, it says even that Yehoshua sits on the curve of the earth. So for all you fucking flatheads, get a fucking grip, man. Don't try to use the Bible, because if you try to say the corner post, he also, man, the only way God of the Old Testament, because that's the only place you can find verses like this, I could give you 50 of them if you want them. Only way he talks about it is that it's a globe, that he set something spinning, he says. So it would imagine that he had a marble in his hand and he went, this is the earth. And somehow it took him like 7 of our earth days. Well, 6 because he rested the 7th. Whatever.
Well, I'm just saying, like, either way, they say that there's a curve of the earth. And if it was a flat earth.
I got had.
I'm just saying.
I'm going to guess that Straight Sith Male is just a mastermind. And I will be honest about things like this. On where I come from and what I know, but you got to understand that Jordan Peterson is a certain kind of psychologist. So when he comes at you with things, people can disagree with it because it's subjective. It's subject to your thoughts. What I'm telling you now is also subjective. Please, for anything I say on these topics, go look for yourself, fuckers. Don't take anybody's word for it, least of all mine. Was there someone saying
if anyone tries to say it's flat, it makes no sense to me.
Well, the round thing doesn't make sense. Physics.
I saw this meme one time that said if the Earth is flat, cats would have pushed everything off the edge by now. And it's a joke, but I kind of think it might be a little true.
That's hilarious.
They would have pushed everything off the edge by now.
Well, Vsauce did a video on why it has to be round, and I started asking myself, they used such flawed science in that video, and really, I mean, none of it was real. And I asked myself, why are things like Vsauce now doing videos? But that's what gets me, Straight Sith Male. It's not that I necessarily, it's because of this few experiments I've done myself, and because there's this great thing that says, it's such a dogma. I feel like it's the Catholic Church, brother. You either like it or we'll put you.
Like you're my oldest brother's age, dude, and my dad was very Christian at the same time. He was a little bit, right? So we heard a bunch of craziness about the giants and so on and so forth. You know all the lore. I have no doubt you've heard the same lore that I have.
I'm Catholic, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I do too. I'm not going to interrupt you. It'll take me 10 minutes.
No, that's fine. That's really all I had to say. Like, my dad was a conspiracy.
I know. Like it says there was an amalgamation of man and beast in Genesis. It says all kinds of things about angels and demons mixed with the blood of man. that the children of God saw the children of man, saw they were fair, and I mean all these things. But you have to understand that it doesn't say that in the Jewish translation. And I hate to do this because I'm doing the. Oh man, I hope I say this right. Here, let me get it right.
No,
I'm doing it.
Quran.
It's the
Finish.
Quran. So I'm just like that because they say, well, if you don't do it in Muslim, then you don't really understand the Quran. And so I don't want to be that way. But I'll say, if you look at the Torah, it doesn't say these things that way. I mean, you could take those words and translate them into meaning what they say, but when it says the daughters of God, the sons of the devil and the daughters of God, what it means is the Philistines of the time, the people that didn't believe in the one God that made Adam and Eve, who was still on the earth for part of this time, as that mythos says. So in other words, Adam and Eve are still there saying, yes, the Garden of Eden was real, and they're children, if you believe this mythos, where they're saying bullshit, because allegedly they lived 930 some years apiece. Methuselah was 969 years. Enoch was 960 years when he walked, like we were talking about earlier. Anyway, blah, 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 blah.
No, it's absolutely right. That's what you're saying. Yeah, I've heard all those things.
Shit, we're going to lose one of the most interesting people I've met lately. Well, and there you go.
I glitched out a few times. He'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back.
In the Quran, no joke, in the Quran, they're talking about the horned man who went to the edge of the west and saw the sun set into a fucking, what was it? I think a lake, a creek, or a stream. I can't really remember. But when it comes to that old of books, I don't really think you can take shit literally.
Not at all.
Also, I have no idea why they called him the horned man.
Well, and look, it also says in the Quran that when Muhammad, shit be upon his face, was out walking and the sun got in his face, that like the trees would bend over. Muhammad, fuck his asshole. And, all this stuff. And we know that's nonsense. And so and I want to say, as much as I mock, I watch Poisoning the Well. I'm British. It's a great thing for him. I like him anywhere on his show. I don't give a fuck what you think. Mock my Lord, mock Jesus if you want. Hey, it's your business, man. Mock whoever you want. I'm not going to tell you if you do thus and such, you go into hell. That's your business, man.
We're allowed to mock
where anybody going. In fact, I think a lot of people that are skeptics, man, and do certain things, I think they'll be in Elysium myself. Most people won't tell you, especially people of my persuasion, because if they tell you that God, of my understanding, would judge the intent of somebody's heart, and that majority of people that folks think ain't going nowhere will probably be in Elysium, well, they don't get a lot of money in the plate. People go to church because they want to say, oh, God, I sinned this week, man. Go check out Bishop Bo Wiggle. No to the no. Some preachers. He's like a pastor, retired pastor. He's got a song called Some Preachers. The whole title is Some Preachers Ain't Shit. And it's the same reason. He rides a bike around Plant City.
No.
Hell no.
I know exactly what song you're talking about.
Man, Bishop Bo Wiggle's shit.
It's actually not that bad of a song.
So anyway, that's my thought too, because even Carrie said in a little comment, I was just looking through my comments. I get behind, and I'm sorry, folks, if I do. I'm busy, very busy. I love doing this stuff, but it takes up time. And then hey, look, I don't want to bitch. But sometimes I'm late on getting back to your things, but I try to answer everything. She said that, well, you said you were a preacher. That explains a lot. Well, guess what? I'm a Christian. I'm a preacher. I'm an ordained minister that's not doing the work anymore, but you can't ordain you. You think they got to kill you for that, burn you at the stake or some shit. I'm skeptical. I'm a skeptical Christian. Am I skeptical about what I believe about the afterlife? No, not at all. Sorry, folks. I'm very, very, very firm in what I believe. Do I think that some super being created this earth, whether it's flat or round, in 6 days in some supernatural way, about 6,000? Yeah, I do. Mock me, Staggerson. Pull this up and mock me. I don't care. It's what I believe. There were Roman soldiers that fully believed if they fought the battle, man, the phalanx, same thing in the Greeks. They were in the phalanx, man, and they fully believed their mothers would tell them, come back with this shield or on this shield. That's what the Greek mothers would tell their boys who were taken away from them. I think it was at 8, might have been at 12, but they took them away and taught them to be warriors. And the only thing to be a Spartan was you belong. I could roll on and on and on and on and on. So yes, I'm firm in my faith and my belief, but I do believe that my faith and my belief, if these cocksuckers, they go out and hold signs and say, God hates America, and fags going, whatever, Westboro Baptist, they're not the only ones. Well, the Bible also says somebody that eats a shrimp is an abomination to God. One that touch a pig is an abomination to God.
Which is kind of funny because no one actually believes that shit anymore.
Well, I do. I don't eat swine and I don't eat shrimp. I don't eat it. I don't touch it.
Wearing mixed fabrics is a no-no.
Well, there you go. There you go. Now, I'm not that strict, girl, but if you, boom, you got it. You had. Say that again, Buttercup. What do you mean by that, mixed fabrics?
Well, okay, so in the same list, in I think it's Leviticus.
Yes,
that says that, you know, you shouldn't eat shrimp because...
Shouldn't be gay.
You shouldn't be gay. You shouldn't
see your mother naked. Shouldn't see your sister naked.
It also says that you should not wear clothing of mixed fabrics. For whatever... I really don't know why.
So my tie is silk, and that's safe, but my shirt is a polyester blend.
Yeah, so you're going to hell.
You going to
apparently. I mean, so if you're going to follow one, you really need to follow them all.
Or not tell
or none at all.
Or you could look at it this way.
And it's not even... What gets me about people using that argument in particular, I'm sorry, this is a tangent of mine, is... The word abomination didn't even mean the same thing then that it means now.
That is very true. That is extremely true.
You cannot, if you have brain cells that fire against each other and you haven't been so completely brainwashed to the point where you can't question anything, you can't look at that list, at those rules, and just go, yeah, no, it's fine. I can cherry pick what I want out of this. I don't like this, so this doesn't work. But the whole thing, okay, so I figured it out when I was younger. The whole reason that the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the whole reason that they're all against gay people is incredibly simple. Anybody know what it is? Anybody know what the reason is?
With the gay thing, it's because you can't actually make babies.
Yeah, propagation.
Yes, that's exactly it. You cannot expand the herd, as it were, with gay people. You cannot make more little soldiers for Christ's army with gay people. And that's what it is. That's what it boils down to.
The imams right now say we'll breed them out. They're saying that actively in England, everywhere else. We'll breed them out.
So
I didn't want to stop you on that. Yeah, go ahead.
But
no, you're fine. You're fine.
When it comes to the Bible, when it comes to the Bible and the word sin, you mean like you're going to hell because you did this. Sin means just wrong. So when it says when a man lays with another man is sin, it means it's wrong. You can't actually birth.
Oh, you're killing me too, Buttercup. Mute unless you're talking, girl. You're crushing. Yeah, thank you so much. And also, I'll go further than that. It says Jesus said, if you believe in this kind of thing, you do believe that Jesus was the last word on this planet. And the only thing he stressed was the first 4 commandments, love God as, above all others, and the last 6, love your neighbor as yourself. When they asked Jesus, they wanted him to commit to 1 commandment. He didn't say it. He just put the 4 together and the 6 together. So love God above everything and love your neighbor as yourself.
Also in the 10 Commandments, it never says you can't be with a dude.
Well, I'm not going to say that, but listen, that's up to you. It would be adultery. So I'm not going there. This is the point. If you believe in this mythos, could we all agree here that if anyone would say they believed in the Christian, which means little Christ mythos, that Christ would be the final word on earth? Could we agree that with the panel?
Assume only me, considering we have a toad on a crucifix and someone that doesn't believe in,
No, but I'm not
religion.
even asking them to believe. No, I'm not asking. This would be like saying, do you believe that Buddhists would listen to Buddha? That's all I'm asking. Do you believe that Christians, which means little Christ, should believe that Christ, Jesus, or Yehoshua, or Joshua, or whatever name you want to give the man that allegedly died on the cross? Would you believe that his word would be the final word? That's the question.
I would like to believe that Christians would believe that, but I don't.
No, I don't think so either. And I'll elaborate on it if I can get a consensus with the panel that would say that, yes, Buddhists should believe in Buddha, Hindus should believe in Krishna, and Christians should believe in Jesus. Could we all agree in that if they're going to say that?
Well, I mean, they do believe in those things, but believing and actually listening and following the word of are two different things.
Thank you so much, Butter. I don't even know if I can say it much better than that because it would take me a long time to say those exact words.
I completely agree with that, but also at the same time, I'm a very skeptic Jew. So I like to question everything because the way I look at it is over time, a lot of things can be misrepresented based on historical context that gets lost over time. So how can we sit here and make pure definitions based on what it means if things are constantly changing? That's my biggest question about it. And then you got all these different branching sects of each individual religion saying, oh, we're going to take this part of the Bible, and they're going to conflate it with everything else. So my question is, how do you balance everything and try to find the truth if so-and-so's religion or so-and-so is? That's my biggest question.
Well, that comes down to a matter of faith. I mean, it's simply a matter of faith. What do you believe in? Because there's no way to really truly know. And that's actually going to be kind of the subject of the next video that I put out. I'm just procrastinating on that. But I'm actually making a video, and I'm kind of, this might not make it's going to make a lot of people very unhappy. I'm basically calling for an end to religion, organized religion.
Exactly. I think the main issue is organized religion, because they take all these ancient writings and say, oh, this law, you should believe this. Otherwise, you're going to be castigated and sent to hell if you don't. That's why I don't like organized religion. I mean, if you practice, that's your choice. I'm not going to sit here and judge you. But what makes you morally superior? And that's a very gray area as well in regards to, okay, we've evolved enough. We can make moral decisions of what we believe right or wrong based on some of the stuff from the Bible. But some of the stuff that is more what they would define morally right is some things we define morally wrong now. So that's another thing of where do we go from there?
Which is why I would call for an end to an organized religion, as it were. Any organized religion. I don't care. I think that faith is a beautiful, wonderful thing. I think if you want to have faith, I think if you believe that trees are God, that's fine. That's your faith. That's it. I don't care. But organized religion is kind of unnecessary at this point.
You mean like the Masons also? What about the Elks Lodge or the Moose Lodge or the Fraternal Order of Eagles?
Organized religion.
Yep, all those things are cults where you get together and you do like a ceremony to get in and you pledge something and you pay to be, the whole 9 yards. So would you say that definitely the Masons are definitely, what about the Satanists? What about the pagans? Could we worship Samhain or Saturnalia, or would that all be outlawed?
I mean,
no, that's a rough
no.
one.
If you want to worship a cloud, go for it. But
Well,
what I'm talking about,
harmful organizations that may hurt someone else. How about that?
well, I mean,
Physically, I would say, or try to stifle their growth in any way, such as Muslims. Islam is that way.
of course.
There are sects of Buddhism that just was come to my mind. That's in Myanmar, they like to call it, but it's actually Burma. You know, and they were killing people. Buddhists, if you can believe it. They don't even.
Well, yeah,
they don't want to kill anything. That should be outlawed.
If
But
a
you don't have
religion
to.
calls for you to harm someone in order to follow said religion, yeah. I mean, okay, so religion in its basis is threefold, as far as I understand it. It's to impart morals upon a society, to basically help with controlling said society in what you should and shouldn't do, a herd mentality sort of thing. And it is to, through rituals, basically provide a comfort for these people. And a lot of it was back in the days when you were uncertain if you were going to make it to 30. But I really, honestly, 100% think that we have evolved beyond the need for an organized religion. Faith is a wonderful thing, like I said before. Organized religion is not a thing that we need any longer.
So no Satanists, no Wiccans, no Bohemian
Satanists
Grove,
and Wiccans,
none of that.
They kind of worship the earth more, and Satanists worship themselves.
Yeah, they do. You said the key word, worship. They're an organized religion of worship. So I can't stand what you just said. That actually makes me want to stop eating my Pringles here, because you can't. But what I would say is, now if the Bohemian Grove is getting together and figured out how to take over the world, we should definitely look into them and probably try to stop it. Or even the Bilderbergers. That is a religious organization. Luciferians, they're pretty rough, but I don't think we should end the ability to be a Luciferian. I just think we should look into the Luciferians like the Bilderbergers and whatnot that are actually trying to kill us.
Well, unfortunately, if you're going to call for the disbandment of one religion, you need to call for the disbandment of all religions, because it can't be a cherry pick situation. You can't be like, well, I don't like your religion. Your religion is fine. I don't like
Fair enough, girl. Fair enough. You got gonads. You got gonads. Girls do have gonads. Say that again, quiet. I was complimenting her on her gonads, because she did admit that, yes, you have to get rid of them all of them.
You can't get rid of any of them. It's within our Constitution. Freedom of religion without I'm sorry, I'm a little drunk.
No worries.
Freedom from
it says that the United States shall not abridge the free expression of religion. That's in the First Amendment. So yeah,
So it's allowed, but no religion is allowed to take precedence over our law.
I am not saying to stop believing what you believe in. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that.
I'm saying you can't cherry pick. I'm
just saying
that you can't get rid of any.
No, it's not so much as she's saying that. It's more like she's saying, like, the people who run these religions, the cult-like leaders who are saying, hey, we should do this, this, and this that may cause physical harm.
Hey, quit mansplaining.
No, it's fine. But
I'm sorry. I just felt the need to say, hey, I understand what she's trying to say.
Don't be sorry. That was totally just a joke. I just thought it was funny.
No, it's cool. I don't believe in mansplaining. But anyway.
Only crazy feminists do.
Yeah. If I were a crazy feminist, I wouldn't be here right now.
Just watch. Someone who comes across this is gonna take what I said out of context. Be like, oh, this piece of shit.
We don't care about that. It happens all the time. Listen, this is what I'm going to get to. I was not saying or even asking you to opinion. I do agree that our Constitution says that we have the right to express religion, as long as that religion don't hurt anybody. But you said flat out, no, I don't think there should be religion, and it should be all of it. So you know what? I respect that, Butter. I really do. Because I don't really see where it reminds me of the song Imagine. You know, imagine this, you know, and yes, that would be a wonderful world if there was no organized religion. We can't do that, I don't think.
Well, I would like to hope that one day we as a people can get there where we just don't see the need for it any longer. Because it honestly does more harm than good.
You ever read The Time Machine? H.G. Wells? Man, it's a very slim book.
Great book.
Read it in 2 evenings. Just read that. And you never know. This is just one person's idea of what might happen. What do you say? 2,000 years in the future in futurity. But you know the Eloys and the what's the other ones? Anyway. So if you get a chance, read that book, because we don't know what will happen in the future. But I will agree with you. An absence of religion would be okay, but if you take away all absence of fear of the outsider, so to speak, and no desire to defend oneself, then you do end up with the Eloys, and that they're just eaten by why can't I think of their names right now? The ones that live underground that come up and eat their ass. Nobody knows. I'm not even looking at the chat, so whatever.
No, I can't remember for the life of me. I read that years ago.
Yeah, I'm getting an M in my head for some reason. I'll look at it. It'll come to me. So anyway, so there's many ways to look at the future, but I can't help it but agree with you in one way, Butter, that I would like it to be that way, but I have to disagree with that unless you think we should implement it. Let me put it to you this way, because I want to hear more what you think about this. This is intriguing to me. How would we implement it? What would we do? How would you stop it?
Well, I mean, I don't think that it would. I want to say you start with the major religions and basically make it so that your churches, your synagogues, your temples, that sort of thing, and turn them into community centers or just general places like that. I'm not saying don't believe in God or Buddha or anything like that, but I'm saying that to have a religion, to have an indoctrination process is doing more harm than good these days. I mean, well, like you were talking about, the people who go out and they have the signs and they say God hates fags and stuff. And I mean, that's not helpful. That helps no one. But they do that because that's their belief. That's their religious belief. They really think that they're doing good, and they're not.
May I counter that?
Sure.
Okay, now you have people coming out of the woodwork saying, well, if you won't date a tranny or a black, you are now transphobic and or racist. And therefore you are a bigot.
Okay.
Is that helping anyone?
Well, of course not.
Well, yeah, so beliefs are going to happen. People are going to fight. People are going to be angry for stupid reasons.
But we should outlaw the homophobic thing. Is that what you're saying, Wyatt? Should we outlaw that?
The thing of it is on that, yeah, people are going to fight. People are going to do this. But when people don't have an entire system of others backing them up, then they have to fight for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't fall back on, well, my religion says this, so I'm right because there's 2.3 million of us.
No, instead you have a bunch of mindless drones not, actually having a code of conduct, and instead they pick on people because they view differently of them. I'm just saying there's no right way of...
It's not like we can't come up with a morality code. It doesn't have to be religion-based. It can be an ethical code of conduct based on how we as a people view how we should behave towards each other. Don't walk around and stab a guy. Don't steal his money. Don't,
You're talking my language
screw his
now,
wife
brother.
in front of him.
Well,
Yeah,
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go to the script, but I would say that what you just said, don't hurt, don't steal. That should be all of our civil laws. So don't come steal my tomatoes out of my garden. I guess that, in a way, I would say
do not encroach on another person's freedom.
Yeah,
to go back to the Constitution.
Boom. And I don't want to get involved in this too much because y'all are doing very fine. Because there is an idea here, Butter. That's why I did throw in the joke about, mansplaining. That what you're talking about is social justice, man. I'm not for that. Uh-oh, I just got wind in the ear. Yeah, wind. Butter, you're killing me.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's
you didn't even, I feel like justice. Tucker Carlson because you didn't answer my question. All I got was wind in the ear.
But anyway,
y'all get that?
I'm pretty sure you just called me a social justice warrior, and I have to give you wins for that.
No way, girl. No. In fact, let me make it very clear. I'm saying that I think that one of your ideas here that you're not looking at clearly, and you're not seeing that because I did, and you didn't back up, but then you backed up a little bit later. Because you said we start with the bigger religions. And I heard you very clear. I've been listening very carefully. So I'm not saying you're a social justice warrior. In fact, I think if you examine what you're saying very clearly, I think you'd come to this conclusion, Butter. I'll just give it to you instead of trying to pry it out of you. I think you'd say that the society, the community, should shame assholes and make them not want to be assholes. And when they're not assholes, what they believe in and what they do doesn't really matter anymore, does it? Is that good enough?
Yeah, I guess so.
I agree, because I agree with that.
I sit back, and I grew up in the Catholic Church, and I grew up around religious stuff. And I just sit back, and I look, and I watch all this hatred being spewed at other people in the name of religious beliefs, and all I can sit there and think is, this is awful.
Buttercup,
it's awful.
May I interject?
Oh, please.
And this actually kind of expounds on what you're saying. Let's go back to the 1940s. Look what happened when a very charismatic person rose to power in Germany. And with me, like I said, I'm Jewish, so I'm trying to make it sound like, oh, we're all Nazis or all that. But I'm saying of charismatic people who run these religions.
Well, you mean like Emperor Hirohito is who you were talking about, right? The person they said was God, and you couldn't look at him, and all shades above the first floor had to be drawn. Because I know who you were saying, but we could draw it to many people. So continue. We understand the concept. We could draw it to Hitler or anybody. But I'm Jewish also, 7/8 Jewish, and I don't like Hitler. Go ahead.
But you made a great analogy with Emperor Hirohito as well. I was trying to make of just like charismatic people who believe themselves above everyone, who take themselves to spew all this hatred and try to twist and manipulate people to believe what they believe is right. And it's these types of people who hold a lot of influence in these organized religions and politics. And it's just insane that in terms of social justice today, we're seeing the exact same thing, something very similar to what happened in the 40s. And history is repeating itself. And my question is, where do we go from here? How can we truly try and end it without trying to get rid of the organized religion where these people hold all this influence?
Just disconnect yourself from everything.
But you don't, RPR, expand on that a little bit. What do you mean disconnect from what? Because you can't from everything. So what would you disconnect from to help that? That's a great point, though.
Seriously, I think we do have to we've advanced so fast, we do need to step back, maybe 200-300 years ourselves, just to disconnect ourselves from corruption.
so you are talking about like a flat disconnected iPod phone? You said, because man, I think about that too, mate. Please expand so I don't put words in your mouth. Disconnect in 300 years? What do you mean?
I mean, we literally go back to the Dark Ages. You know, there's no modern technology to help us. We've got to work things out for ourselves.
Oh, so like a restart.
Wouldn't that be glorious?
That would actually be awesome. Yeah.
Wouldn't be glorious. And then we got, because there's so many things to be solved by that. Somebody's going to take this out of context, but you just said we were talking about Mad Men. And then Quiet was like, there's Mad Men. And yes, there's so many more now because our society's so huge. You had Mussolini and Benito, and you had, I mean, Stalin. I could mention some Stalin. Yeah, and that was all in one time. But then if you go way back, you had, who'd you have? Napoleon, not many others at that time. You go even further back, you had Charlemagne. And then as far as you go back, it was like one at a time and few and far in between. And now we got all of them. I'm not going to start mentioning names, RPR, but you got one in your country. You got one. We got many here. We got many in every state. Anyway, so a recent.
You mean Emperor Corbin?
Oh, and all of them, mate. I mean, I could start naming names in your country or mine, but if I could start in my state, in my county, and start naming jerk-offs. There's a great girl online named Holly Seelinger. And I'm sure, Clint, if he hadn't said anything about it, I'm breaking it now. Holly Seelinger was attacked in Portland, Maine for having fake news because she so artfully put herself. I even asked her on a live stream. She has a fern beside her. I was like, Holly, is that because she's a burlesque dancer, is what she calls it, I believe, a burlesque dancer, not a topless dancer at Joe's Titty Shack. She does a fan dance thing, the old burlesque, man.
Burlesque are actually very classy.
She's something else. And without going too far into it, they've attacked her and said it's fake news. And I'll tell you what, man, we got to guard against all this stuff. Let's have some sanity, in the world. If I want to believe in somebody that made things and did this and that, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to go into it again. Fine. One of my favorite people that comments, one of the most diligent folks that knows this about me also, he has to have seen some things, is RPR. He's got a frog and a cross. I just mentioned, I think it's the first time I've mentioned it. Somebody else mentioned it earlier. Do I care, RPR? Do you feel like I care about what you may or may not believe in? You're a fucking human being.
Yeah, I'm a fucking human. You take me as I am. I ain't changing for no fucker.
Pepe died for our sins.
I was just thinking that, my God.
Pepe died for us. And RPR, I give it up to you for creativity. And listen, that's enough said, because you're a fucking human being, and so am I. And we all got our own crotchets of belief in the great Catholic organization in the sky. I hope that was not too flowery for everybody to understand. But one way or another, we all hold fast to some strange crotchet of the great Catholic religion, be it Loki and Odin or whoever. Go ahead, sir. I was going to just go off on a tip.
Sorry. I just wanted to share something funny with you guys.
Give it to me while I hit my bong.
I'm sharing it if you want to.
I love it. Oh, yeah, sorry. I got to do that now. Man, I worked hard for Zero.
I
love this guy.
I was just like randomly one day, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make a Randy Fane.
Were you the one that put? Okay.
I did the one of Fane with Vegan Gains.
You didn't do the Macho Man, or who was that? Bret Hart. Somebody put his head on Bret Hart from wrestling.
That was Elephant in the Room.
That was so well done that you can't see the stitch, and he does look like Bret Hart. It's so funny.
He does look like him.
Hey, Ogre, could you just say Ogre? Could you just say crotchet again, like a few more times?
Crotchet. No, I said strange crotchet of belief.
I also did one with the other guy.
Strange crotchet of belief.
I did one of.
Well, it's your crotch.
Oh.
Sorry, go ahead, King. Shalom, by the way, brother. I didn't know you were Jewish. You're like me, you're undercover. We don't all look the same.
Oh, no, not at all. But I did one of the other guy as well, Pat.
Oh, pop it up, man. Let me present that.
You remember Power Man 5000, right?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I did him as Spider.
That fits way too well.
Sorry, I was laughing. Say who that is again.
That's actually the singer from Power Man 5000. I just put Pat's face over him.
That's so good.
You're fucking killing it, dude.
These boys, I tell you what, I'm not going to say how many, but go look. I'll say this much. When I looked last night at their thing, and they've been 8,000 for a long time. They were at 8,806 because it was 8886. I got it written down here somewhere. Anyway, this morning they're at more than that. They're over 9,000. The Britisher, he is the man.
Over 9,000.
Yeah, I did my little thing about it.
I wanted to do the. Someone already beat me to it with the Dragon Ball Z reference.
Well, that's the first thing I did this morning when I seen that, man. Because the Britisher, I'm telling you, people even they mail me. Sometimes they DM me, "Hey, what's the Britisher gonna do?" And they ask me things about him. What this and that. I don't fucking know. I'm just stoked that he works with me, man. I don't know everything that we. Also, I gotta say this now, and not only am I not his keeper. Everything we've done in the past, if you look on his channel and mine, we have probably 7 or 8 collabs. None of it did I have. There was 2 of them where he asked me to come up with questions, and in those, that was my role. And the other ones, he gave me a script. He got with me face to face. He told me what I was going to do, and I did my best to do what I thought the director of the deal and the producer wanted me to do. And I was stoked for it because I tell you what, I see something in that guy. And when he sees somebody, this is the whole point. Because I'm telling you, sometimes I wake up in the morning. I've been sober for a few days, and I'm looking at the good things in life. And sometimes I wake up in the morning, and one of the things I think is, oh yeah, one of the dudes. In fact, the dude that is like my right hand man is the Britisher, and it does bring a lot of joy. But when he finds somebody like this, man, if he does one of these things, it's because he's found somebody that's unique. He's found somebody that you should believe in. And I don't think he's ever done one for me, but Nazi Free is one, and so is Poisoning the Well. I love that shit. Listen, before I pop it off, I got to say this, man, I'm so proud to know this guy because I should have known this. And people ask me, oh, what's he? I'm not joking. People do ask me, what's his next move sometimes. I don't fucking know. But I should have known this because in the stream we did with them, as soon as SoFane, I was introducing everybody. When I got to Britisher, he was like, "Oh fuck, the Britisher! I didn't know anybody famous was going to be here." You know, he's got his shot and shit. He was fucking made a big deal about it, and he went off for like a couple minutes about how famous he was. And then at the end, he was like, "Yeah, Britisher, we watch all your stuff, man, and this and that, and the other thing. You know, you should use your ability, well, your muscle, flex your muscle for good." And man, there's one example of it because whether you like Poisoning the Well or not, you have to admit a couple of things. They have an extremely good production value. It's off.
Oh, they do.
It's off the charts, man. It's up there. You know, the money that people give them, they use.
So one of the fans actually asked me to make Fane as Bane from Batman.
Oh.
So
let me see. There we go.
So, I forgot to put the mask on. I kind of fucked it up.
Yeah, because that just looks like that.
I think the face expression does well because he's wearing the coat and everything. So I just it's Fane. Whatever.
All right, I said it before, but we really got 11 minutes. Man, this has been so much fun. I can't say it enough for this stream, and then I'll shut up. Zero did a great job.
Yeah, he did.
And I just want to say thank you for letting me hop in as well. I appreciate that, Ogre.
I think he may have accidentally muted himself. I think he's over there talking.
Happens often.
Yeah.
So sometimes people mute me because I talk too damn much. Yes, sir.
I'd just like to say anyway, if it wasn't for the Britisher, I wouldn't have come across you.
Oh no, he's given me. I don't even like. That's why I didn't really mention it because I was talking shit a little bit today on Twitter. But the fact of the matter is, I wouldn't. I've actually sabotaged my own self 3 times now, and I've got a good dressing down from the Brit every time. And not like I shouldn't say it like that. I just blow shit out of proportion. In fact, to be honest, he never says a fucking thing about it. I'm just like, man, are you pissed that I did thus and such? Because every time I look at when it gets close to 1,000 RPR, I start to freak out, man. Right now, there's 7 people watching. During a normal church thing scheduled, there's at least 20, sometimes 40. That's nothing to big channels. But to me, man, I've preached at churches. I've played the blues in bars for 1 drunk person at the bar, 2 drunken folk dancing on the dance floor, and a bartender for hamburgers and $50. So when I see that, it's like,
Oh, I
wow,
think
there's
we've all been there.
I was gonna say, you got hamburgers, you lucky bastard.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I did too, man. And all I could drink. That was the important thing to me. But in that set, when I see these numbers roll up, man, I start to think to myself, I've got a nice, quiet life here, folk. I whip my guitars out and jam every day, beat my drums, got my chickens, got my little farm, got my wife, got my things I do. And I'm nuts. So the more I put myself out there, you know, we got Wolf Shot on. She was talking one day about getting doxxed and the hell it caused her. And I don't really care in my heart about getting doxxed. I always think about Clinton Cox. He tells you where he lives, who his name is. By the way, good luck. He's like 6'5", 260 pounds. Holy fuck. You better catch him when he's not looking at you, man. Holy shit. And I think he mentioned that I think he's in Michigan, so he could carry a firearm. I'm not sure. I'll let him say that. So you wouldn't want to. Anyway, look, I'm rambling again because it's getting close to the end.
I do think it's kind of funny though, because I'm the same way. I use my last name and my face, so it's like, yeah, feel free to come at me, dude. I got a concealed carry license.
Dude, your last name is Quiet?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why I always use it, man. Like, it's so easy.
That's bad.
I don't use my name, but I do put my face out there.
So I was going to ask you, so you don't mind if I put, because I was going to put your face up. Watch this, girl. Watch the rim around my face as you continue to talk. I didn't know you put your face out there, and I wasn't going to ask you on air because I was going to put a picture of you up that you sent me. It's nice. I mean, it's not like anything horrible. It's actually, you're beautiful. And so let me pop.
Well, thank you.
If you don't like it while you're here, you can actually, you know, in real time, tell me take that down. It'll be fine.
I don't care. I mean, half the videos that I put up, I have my face in them. So.
Yeah, I watch your stuff, but it's still.
I submitted a couple pictures for the Lovely Ladies calendar, so hopefully I make it into that.
You obviously see that one.
I really do. Thank you. I do not look that good today.
Don't matter. This
is how I look today.
You're fine.
Work uniform. That's nice, right? That work uniform, though, right?
Don't kid yourself.
I look like I've been running like a psychopath all day because I have.
I just got my XSplit back up. People probably think I took this down. I mean, I don't know why people would think so, but I didn't. I wasn't able to because right now I'm going through XSplit, and that is what I'm using to put the pictures up around me. And lately, it's just been my webcam, and I kind of like the pictures up. I change them from time to time, and I've thought about just like because I can do this too. See how I can change that right here. I don't know if can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. But I think I got some other stuff. I mean, I can do this where I can show what, you know, I can pop myself in the screen and place, but I can make other ones. So I think what I'll do is like if Zero Cool is here, you know, I'll just have him because I'm going to start. I did it. And when I say I mean, the British had a great idea. I'm going to have, you know, guest hosts like today. Or because if anybody listened to the beginning of that, man, anyone that says Zero Cool is not exactly what he says. And that is, and he knows about comic books and shit. People were hitting him with names and actors and this and that. Dang nabbit, man. That guy is Americana. You know, he knows that stuff.
I'm the exact same way, but mostly with music and Star Wars.
Really, man? So you would be on, when are you free? Are you always free from 3 to whenever? Or when are you usually free?
Normally I work 10 to 6 Monday through Friday, but anytime pretty much I'm free after that.
10 to 6 in the evening.
Yeah.
Well,
then,
on
the weekends
Sundays,
I'm off, so I'm free anytime.
Well, but the thing of it is Wednesdays. Today, I don't usually do anything today. Today was supposed to happen yesterday, and that would have been, Zero doing his thing like he did today. Mm-hmm. But it didn't work out that way. We did today, and I'm thinking about making Wednesdays a no fucking politics day. I think the Britisher will still show up that day. Like I said before, I can't tell you what he's going to do from 1 minute to the next. I have no fucking idea. But he may. But this is not what floats his boat. He is on the other end of the spectrum. He would rather talk about the mechanics of what makes the world go round. I think that's the best way I'd say it.
Hey, to each their own. I'm not going to sit there and judge someone based on what they like to do, because everyone has their own passions.
I would say he would much rather talk about nerdy shit than politics. We talk about politics way too much.
Well, I hope so. I hope, and we get him on. I get him on. But what I got to do is, like he does for me, I got to give him some ideas about the things that aren't just dealing with Muslim terror and all this stuff we talk about day to day. Because if you watch his channel, and man, what I used to do, daggone, I watched Holly Seelinger, and I wondered, does that girl ever get any rest from this stuff? Because it's day after day. It's just what the normal everyday news is, and thinking about that. And it changes so much. I don't know how to say it, folks, but as I get older, I start wondering if I shouldn't just pack up a really good pack, a really good one, like a 4-week pack, and take my air rifle, 5,000 or 6,000 loads, and just go north. Find a nice place, take a, have my pack and have it, make a little thing and.
No, why the hell not? That sounds fun.
No, and because we were talking earlier, that's what RPR made me think of this, because what we need is a reset. I said it yesterday. Man's heart away. The old Lakota said, "Man's heart away from nature and growing things becomes hard." And if he doesn't have compassion for growing, I'm paraphrasing, compassion for growing things and living things, he'll lose his compassion for man. And man, we are losing it. My best friend is a Brit right now, I would say. Well, that's not true. The King of Esty is, but my second best friend, and probably my only other, what I would honestly consider friend, no disrespect to anybody, if you take it, you're crazy, is the Britisher. We talk very often, and he's quite a guy. I like him. I respect him. He's interesting. I believe he would say the same things about me. But in this age, is that healthy? Is it good that the only other person outside of someone I've known since the 4th grade I would call a friend, I never seen face to face? I'm not sure it is. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you've talked to Miss Sarah, right?
I believe so, Sarah.
Miss Zara, you actually invited her onto one of your streams once, and she got really weirded out and was like, "I can't talk about myself."
There's so many folks. I'm sure you're right, but what about her?
Oh no, that's like one of my good friends. I've known her for like 3 years now.
Oh, you brung her on, if I remember now.
No. She's never been on a stream. She is so shy, will never want to talk to anyone outside of her own comfort zone.
Okay,
but
you got a surprise for you.
Ooh,
yeah, tell me.
Surprise? Is it a dick?
No, you got to see it.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Oh, it's the glasses.
Mouth is open.
Yep, it's the Fang glasses.
All you need to do is get some stuff, man. That's it.
Hell yeah.
Shalom, brother. You are beautiful, I must say, because you're my cousin. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that's one of the reasons that people hate us, man, and Mazel Tov, is because, no matter what, myself, I'm not a religious Jew in the least bit. None of my family has been. I wasn't even told that I was Jewish because I asked, and I didn't know. I was just an American until I was about 12 years old, nearly 13. And my whole family, except for my grandfather on my mother's side, but everybody else is Jewish. And now we don't speak. My grandfather on my father's side spoke Yiddish, but that was it. We do stick together, though, don't we?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We're very family oriented.
Nothing wrong with that. Oh, I'm presenting to everybody now. I thought I'd just stop presenting to you. Yeah, and listen, folks, I'm going to wrap it up, because if I don't, I can see the way this goes, and it's 5:30 right now. So let me take a couple minutes, folks. I really appreciate everybody coming in, because I know RPR at least want to set up a time for tomorrow when I'm done with this, so it's going to take another 5 minutes. I got work to do.
Just real quick, I'm going to post a link to my Discord. That way you all could join in. We're going to be playing some Cards Against Humanity tomorrow. SoFan's going to be on with us. So it's going to be a hell of a time.
Lay it on me.
Give me 1 second.
Appreciate that.
Ogre, you are already in the server.
Oh, that's Poisoning the Well server?
No, my server, the Miller family. I sent
Oh, if I'm-
over Twitter DMs.
Will you somebody send me the link on Twitter, because I don't have a side chat on my phone.
What's your Twitter so I can?
I will. I'll send it to you.
Okay, thanks. I mean, I don't care. I'll broadcast my Twitter. I don't
No, I got
Actually,
it right here.
I need two or three more followers, and I will hit that perfect number of followers to following.
So I'll. What is that perfect number? What's the perfect
69.
No. I follow 177 people, and so I need like 2 or 3 followers to get to 177 followers.
Let me see. I got you right here. So let me go to you and send it out in the chat and see if we can get you. Come on, man. Go check her out if you're not there, you suckers. Whoever's left hanging out.
My food is finally done,
to
so
check
I'm going to
I
bounce
think
out
I'm
and eat.
following her.
All right, brother. I'm out of here,
Toss it
too.
away.
I'm going to do my little thing. I'm going to give my spiel and then haul ass.
I'm gonna have to follow as well.
Bye, y'all. Love y'all.
Oh, who was I
I
sending?
will-
Oh, I'm sending it to the thing.
Probably
yes.
have to go too, because mostly phone battery is dead. These things kill phones. These hangouts
Yeah, get
kill
out of here. It'll
phones.
make it easier for me anyway. Thank you. And Butter, I'm sending your
Yeah.
thing out right now. So anybody that's still here,
Awesome.
go sub to her, man. You folks, go sub.
Yay!
Follow her is the thing. Get her over the hump.
Well, hey, you can sub to me too. The link to my YouTube channel is on my
It's all
profile.
right there. Amen. It's all right there.
Yay!
I'm definitely gonna be subbing.
Don't worry, Buttercup. I'll send you love.
And thank you,
Alright.
folks. I'm gonna wrap her up. Anybody else got some last words here, folkies, before I get out of here? I really appreciate it. I miss straight Sith male, man. He actually rocks. I hope to have him back.
It just sucks that his stuff wasn't working properly. I would love to have talked with him.
Yeah, I would have loved to have talked to Sith as well. Yeah, because he come in last night and he was a bit aggressive towards me. I thought, fuck it.
He's aggressive. I won't even lie. He was really aggressive. He was being, I would say, short of a troll. He was being a dick. And I'd give him a wrench and was like, say what you want. And then he ended up being, it's like it's so many people. You know, they just want to put up some kind of, me included, put up some kind of front. And in the end, they're just human beings, folks. They're just humans.
Yeah.
So look, I got to talk to RPR for a minute. So I'm going to wrap it up. One more chance. What was you saying, brother? This is it.
I was gonna go first, sir.
No, this will be it. When you're done, I'm going to wrap it up and go off air.
Okay, I just wanted to say again, thank you for having me on. You guys are awesome. And I'm glad to know you guys and just shoot the shit with you. And I just wanted to say for everyone, shalom. And have a great day, guys. Be safe. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Oh my goodness. If I do, I'll name it after you. And so I'd also like to thank everybody that's been here, especially Zero Cool. And just for a couple minutes, tell y'all a little something from my heart. I mean, you can do what you want with this. I said it very briefly earlier today in a short video. Synergy is the best thing there is, because energy starts from a stopping point. If you have energy, it's balls up, and you have kinetic energy. You have all kinds of different energies, but it starts from a stopping point. Synergy is already moving. It's that snowball going down the hill. It's something that's just picking up speed. And so, you know, I think again about a few people I've seen. So without kissing anybody's ass or going back through names I've already mentioned, I'll just say that I've seen folks that help folks. In my heart of hearts, I don't know why others don't. It might be that it takes time and effort. It might be that they wouldn't want to give somebody a leg up and for fear that they might go a peg down. In the end, people, it doesn't matter if you help somebody. I mean, it matters, don't get me wrong. But how does it matter? Would it take away from you? Could you ever go a notch down by giving a brother a hand up? I would respectfully right now say absolutely not. We're not crabs in a barrel, people. They have no minds, and they don't understand that while they're trying to climb out, they're pulling someone else down, and that never, it's a cycle. And no one gets out of the barrel. We're human beings. You know, the tallest should wait till last, and everybody help each other out. We could get everybody out of that bucket, out of that barrel. So just once again, as you go about your day to day or whenever, till we see each other again or whatever it may be. Just try to remember this. Synergy is the best thing in life, and it's always best if you get the ball rolling. So that said, folks, be good to your friends, be good to your family members, be good to your loved ones. Be quick to say you're sorry. Be even quicker to accept an apology, especially when that thing your friend, your family member, your loved one has done seems to be so huge, you'll never be able to forget about it. Because constant viewers, at a time you think not, your friends, your family members, your loved ones, your life, and everything you know will depart from you. It's Sidney Rough Diamond. That's all I got today, baby. Keep it real, defend the island, whatever the cost may be.